Welcome to the True Demon Lord show. I am, of course, still the True Demon Lord. So I've disappeared a little bit, but I'm back for the warp again. But I am, yes, the True Demon Lord Franco. And of course, I am joined by my amazing co-host, Mr. Byron. You okay, Byron?
Yo, we back.
Yeah, we are back. And I promise, I've had a few people messaging, wondering if I've died or not. And I haven't died. I promise. Just not been that much into the having a much motivation and time to do the channel stuff. But we are back, and I will be doing as much as I can. And I'm playing again, which is amazing. So, you can't see us, technical difficulties, but that's fine. You can listen to our beautiful tones. That'll do. What really matters is this big fat old tier list that we've got in front of us. So, you know how a tier list works. We all know how a tier list works. S, A, B, C, D tier. S being really good, D being really bad, and everything in between sits where it does. Now, of course, tier lists are subjective to the person who's doing its opinion, but I think me and Byron are pretty good people to base opinions off of when it comes to Demon, especially Byron, because Byron plays at an incredibly high level at the moment and is, a regular 4-1, 5-0 player. I'm just a regular 3-0 player at the moment. I'm just a little RTT gremlin, but Byron smashes it at the big ones, didn't you?
I have been recently, yeah.
You've been hammering it recently every time. To keep looking at it. But yeah, so again, like I said, don't need to explain how the tier lists work. We know how it all works. The only thing I will say is, obviously, there are a couple different iterations of each unit depending on detachments and enhancements. So we are going to rank them. We're going to mention all of the versions of them, but we're going to rank them at their best. So the best version of that datasheet that you can take. So whether that be in a certain detachment or with a certain enhancement or whatever it may be, that's how we're going to rank it. So while we'll mention, how they are outside of that, their ranking and where they sit is going to be based off of the best version of that unit. I think that's a good way to do it, right?
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so let's jump straight in. We are starting with the main man himself, of course, Mr. Be'lakor. I think it's S tier. I don't see how you don't have him in S tier, personally.
He gets taken in like every army.
Yeah.
Almost regardless of detachment.
Plague Legion can go without him. Speaking as a Plague Legion main, you don't need him. But taking him wouldn't be a bad thing because he still has synergy in Plague Legion through his Battle Shock aura thing. But yeah, he's just all rounder. The lone up 18, the reroll ones, good combat, good shooting. He's just overall a really good data sheet, right?
Yeah, for sure. He's so good he can get taken in anything.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really weird to say for a datasheet that's 375 points, and you look at his profile and go like, "Oh, that damage output is good, but it's not like 375 points worth of damage output."
But he's not just damage output.
He's not just about damage output. He's so kept your army from being shot at. He can bully things if he needs to. He shoots. He fights. He just kind of does everything that you need a greater demon to do, and he does it well.
And he has a universal shadow aura, so he can drop multiple things in his shadows, not just one god specific. So you can drop Rotigus and Scarbrand within 6 inches of him in incursion and drop 6 inches away, which is he's the only one that can do that. And it just gives you that flex. You're the incursion player, but we know that a guy that can drop 2 different types or 3 or 4 different types of god units, that's valuable, right? Gives you flexibility.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely huge. Yeah. The amount of games I've gone where someone's left big enough gap in one section of the board, even like being fully aware of it and going, "Oh, you're not going to do that. You're not going to send 3 greater demons into my deployment." I definitely would if they're going to kill enough things. And those 3 would be like Garbrand, Lord of Change, and Be'lakor.
Yeah.
And Be'lakor being the only one that can deliver both of those at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Into the insane, perfectly sized pockets.
Yeah.
Is amazing. Crazy.
Yeah. And also shout out to Be'lakor in his own detachment. He is even better because he gets sustained or lethal off the Dark Pacts, which he takes no leadership and mortals from, which is really good. Be'lakor with sustained hits on his big attacks on his Blade of Shadows is really, really good. You can give him Lance as well, which is also really, really good. So he becomes an even bigger like beat stick. While you're not doing the deep strike shenanigans, his damage output goes up exponentially, I think, in Shadow Legion, which is really, really nice. And I mean, you can take him in any list. I think that obviously I was running it as well. You take him in scintillating to keep your bird safe, especially the puppeteer bird. You can take him in. Yeah, I mean, Legion of Excess and Blood Legion aren't exactly being taken at the moment, and for good reason. They're not very good, or the units aren't enough, or they don't get enough stuff, or they don't do enough. But you can take him in those detachments, and he does what he does in all of them, and that's just be synergetic. And you can take him in Plague Legion, but I just don't. I feel like because you can get the Lone Off 18 or off a Droning Shroud, he's not as needed. But also, he does still benefit. He does still give synergy. Through his other ability on his command ability, where he can cause battle shocks on units under starting strength, and then also he heals every time units fail battle shots within 9 of him, gaining D3 wounds. Which, of course, in a detachment where you're throwing 2, 3, 4, 5 battle shocks a turn, you can have Be'lakor kamikaze into things, go down to a few wounds, and then get him all the way back up to nearly full health again. So it's actually something I would like to try, but I think I need to work a list around him because he's 375 points, and that's a lost big guy, which at the moment I like having my fat boys and my knight. So I don't know, but yeah, overall I think S tier is where he sits, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Next, my favourite unit, sarcasm very much intended, the Bloodthirster. Give him, granted, the Fate Thirster is good, right? You can't take the Fate Thirster away. The Fate Thirster is good, but it is very susceptible to being heroic if you don't do it properly, and a good opponent will be able to play around it. Outside of that, we all know my history with Bloodthirsters. They don't like me and I don't like them, but advancing charging Bloodthirsters, especially the Fate Thirster, it's not awful, especially when you can scout 9-1 as well if you really want to, as a real turn 1 missile. It's not awful. I think that's the detachment where they're best, is Shadow Legion, agree?
Yeah, I think like in Incursion, if you want to run that, you just have Scarbrand. Yeah. I do like the Argath Thirster, but I think Scarbrand's reliability is just too good.
100%.
And he's cheaper. And then
yes,
in Shadow Legion, the Fate Thirster is probably the only way. But there's so many other things that you can take Fade to Darkness on that are good, and
Lord and Chosen.
That will be similar kind of output.
Yeah.
So I think he's good, but when he's restricted to one detachment to be like super efficient, I feel like demons lists want to get the most out of every greater demon.
Yeah.
And if you're restricted to one list where he's really good, then he shouldn't be really high up on the tier list.
I get that, and I don't disagree. I mean, I don't like Bloodthirsters, but I think the Fate Thirster can sit kind of towards the bottom of A tier. Without that, he's B tier firmly. But I think he just groups A tier because of the Fade and the Advance and Charge, because that gives him a lot of creative movement, especially on GW terrain. UKTC terrain, I feel like he's a bit more restricted, but on GW terrain, I feel like he's got a lot of freedom because of the clear plates and stuff. So I think A, but like bottom of A because of the Fade. Otherwise, it would be B. Yeah?
Yeah. Works.
Right. So I don't know. I actually haven't told you how we're doing this, have I? So it's unnamed, named, unnamed, and named. So when we're on the unnamed, we'll have the named Greater Demon. So you know who's next. Okay. I'll let you take this one because I know you're a big fan of the next one.
Yeah. Straight away, I think he's got to be top of A tier. I don't want to put him S tier because he's very one-dimensional in terms of what he does.
I agree.
He is going to missile something. He's going to kill it, and he's probably going to die afterwards. I've had plenty of scenarios where he's gone to scare something, failed to missile it, and then just died, having not done anything. But he's dragged a reasonable chunk of output away from something else, which generally means that he's at least made his points back. So I think for the sheer fact that he can kill something that the rest of your army generally struggles to kill, he's brilliant, and that's why he goes in A tier. Some of the buffs that he's had of the built-in advance and charge, strength 8 on his shout is insane. Like, you get to win Space Marines on 2s and you're just shouting at them.
Good old Scarbrand.
Yeah, stuff like that is amazing. I do miss the leadership test to fall back.
It felt... It was good when it worked, definitely. But flat advance and charge, and his +1 attack ability affecting him, and strength 8 on his shout as well. I think are more than fine to replace it as extra buffs.
Yeah, I think he becomes less tech and more just tech towards doing more efficiently what he's supposed to do.
He is exactly what he should be. He should be a literal. If there is anything in the game that is a heat-seeking missile of "I'm going to kill you," it should be Scarbrand. It should be Scarbrand, and he that you cannot get it wrong. He is literally you run him. He is the classic incursion, 6-inch deep strike, charge, smash something into the ground, and then die afterwards, or at least take a lot of work to deal damage to. That is what he does. He is the classic case of that. And also he is pseudo Shalaxi now, since Shalaxi's not that good anymore. He was the replacement. No, I say he was the replacement. You were taking both of them, but for people that wasn't taking him and was taking Shalaxi, he is the new Shalaxi, right? But he's very
People
much
absolutely hate me for taking both of them together.
I mean, I took it a few times. I preferred, you know me, I am okay with having damage in kind of one spot and then just taking more resiliency and shit like that. But I did try it out once because obviously it worked really well for you, and I had to admit it is really fun especially when they're double flanking, like on either flank, and your opponent's like, "Oh my god, I don't know what to do. I can't deal with this shit." Like, he is exactly what he should be. So, yeah, I think top of me is
like
exactly where he sits.
So I have some friends by now where they'll say to me like, Byron used to play games and just know in his head like 2 turns in advance, I'm going to kill this, I'm going to kill this, I'm going to kill this, and there's not much you can do about it.
Yeah.
And it was with the list that had Scarbrand and Shalaxi, because they just fucking ripped everything apart.
Because whatever they touched died. I mean, Shalaxi, we all know what Shalaxi used to do. She used to kill everything, the world and its mother. And Scarbrand's flat 6 damage just means that the average amount of wounds will kill most things in the game. So you could reliably kill 2 big knights a turn with those 2 guys, and then maybe a third if the chicken and Be'lakor was able to tag team it, right? So you could pull down 3 big knights in a turn fairly reliably, which is pretty nutty for a combat army, to be honest. So yeah, I think top of A is great. Moving on to, speaking of chickens, we've got the Lord of Change. And I mean, this is the first tier list we've done since their buff a few months ago. So flat 3 damage on the Bolt of Change, flat 2 damage on the Rod of Sorcery, and 18-inch range. So they are solid shooting pieces now, strength 10, strength 9. The best version of him, there's 2, right? The Everstave and the Infernal Puppeteer. Even though the Infernal Puppeteer has got double nerf with going from 10 points to 25, which it should never have been 10 points. It was way too cheap. And now it has to see the unit you're shooting through, which again, yeah, fine. I think that's a fine change. It's probably how it should work. But him with Pyrogenesis every turn is just unreal uninteraction, which is really good. And then Everstave Chicken sitting with 6 of Be'lakor and Incursion, and then jumping around with Be'lakor is also just really good. So, like the Everstave Chicken, the Pyrogenesis bird, they can kill big things in a turn. when they have D3 sustain pop off. So I think they're A tier as well, no? Because of stable puppeteer.
Based on puppeteer and Everstave for sure, yeah, they're
100%. Below Scarbrand, I think, but above the Thirster 100%.
Yeah, there's. I think I could argue the other way. I could argue they're above Scarbrand, in the sense that they benefit
get more out of them.
From
that's true. That's true. Okay, yeah, fine. You can tell I've mostly been playing one type of Greater Demon and not really the other stuff recently. But no, I you know what? On reflection, yeah, you're right, because Scarbrand will go in and will kill almost anything, but that's all he's going to do. The chicken can maybe do less damage, but will do more over the course of the game. So actually, yeah, you're 100%, especially the puppeteer. The puppeteer is actually really, really good. So no, you're definitely right. I think maybe does slip above Scarbrand because of that.
Majority of games we might overstave chicken, I get 4 turns out of him, if not 5.
Which is really good. And the thing with the puppeteer, like when I was on scintillating, it was very rarely I didn't get 5 turns out of the puppeteer bird. Very rarely.
Whereas Scarbrand is generally 1 or 2 turns.
Yeah, 1 turn.
Unless you mill him into something that it's physically impossible for them to deal with.
If you play around it and jump into something where your opponent's not going to get anything near you, or you've got Be'lakor holding him and again your opponent can't get near it, then fine. But you don't mind missiling him into a big target that only he will kill reliably, because you know that's his job, right? So, I'll let you take the next one, because you've been a big fan of this guy for quite a long time. It's not just you're not doing what a lot of people are doing and just recently taking him. You've liked him for a fair amount of time, right?
Anyone watching this video can go back and look at the rest of our tier list. And when we shit on this guy in the past, I felt so bad. It hurt my soul deeply to shit on this model, because this is my favourite Greater Demon. Before Be'lakor got his new model, this guy was my top Don, top G. Kairos was everything. Unfortunately, Be'lakor got a new model that looks, in my opinion, better than the Lord of Change.
It's the best model. It's the best model in GW's history, Be'lakor. We're biased, but it is.
Yeah. So I absolutely love Kairos. Me and Franco talked about it so many times. I talked about it with my teammates so many times. This guy needed flat 3 damage on his shooting.
Yes.
And he was good. And that's what they gave him. It's made him good.
Mm-hmm.
They've now put his points up repeatedly because they gave him flat 3 damage, which is a real shame, but he's still really good. The combination of getting a CP on lead chip test, which is a 6+, and getting a Vectora, like just being able to slap a Vectora in the middle of the board. On UKTC terrain especially, it takes the mick a little bit, because you can put him in the giant ruin.
And he's untouchable. Yeah.
And he's untouchable, and he's going to indirect majority of the board. And he's got a Vectora going to the middle objective, sometimes even stretching out to the natural expansion, depending on where you put him. It's a bit insane. So I think he's strong. I wouldn't put him above the Lord of Change still, because he's strong in different ways. He's much more technical compared to just, I'm going to deal an insane amount of damage. He doesn't deal an insane amount of damage, unfortunately, as much as I would love him to.
And he chips. Because he can chip alongside the other guys.
For sure, yeah. Like, being able to, in Incursion, spend a CP to just boost his AP with Drought of Terror.
Yes.
And then be like, I've got an AP 3 indirect flat 3 damage cannon that can reroll 1s to hit if I'm sitting next to Be'lakor, can be strength 10 if I'm sitting next to my Lord of Change. Certain armies really get terrified of things like that. Blood Angels absolutely hate Kairos because he kills Sanguinary Guard like nobody's business.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone that has 3 wound infantry with even like if it's a 2-up armor save and they don't have an in button, he'll true through them when he boosts his AP. If it's a 3-up armor save, boost his AP to put him down to a 5-up in It's just he's so good against 3 wound elite infantry. He'll kill a squad of 3 a turn. So, but aside from that, like he doesn't offer a massive amount. He's got that. He's got the Vect. He's got the CP generation. The CP generation for me,
That's his
helped
best. That's his best
since
trait.
I've started. For sure, yeah. Like since I started putting him in my list, I've found the extra CP helps so much in terms of
100%.
winning hard. Like just getting more points on your side because you can use it to redraw cards. If you've got that chance at a 6+, you have to redraw cards before you roll that CP generation.
Yeah.
But if you know you've got a 6+ to get an extra CP in the bag, you can spend your only CP for the turn and take the risk on getting the extra one. Just be like, yeah, fine. Unless you really desperately need like a 6-inch deep strike charge.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I love him since I put him in. I would never look back now. But like I mentioned, I don't think he goes above the regular Lord of Change just because the raw damage up.
Definitely not. I agree. I agree with everything you said. When I was running, like I have a soft spot for Kairos. He was my first, alongside the So when I got the old mini monsters back in 4th edition, so 20 years ago, Be'lakor and Kairos are my first 2 models for demons ever. They were my first 2 models ever, not just demons ever. So I have a soft spot for Kairos. I do love Kairos. I know I've slagged him off a fair bit, but I do like him in terms of the character itself. But when I was running him in scintillating, that CP was absolutely vital. And I don't even think, I mean, in scintillation you do want it because you want your delirium unmade and you want your pyrogenesis, but I think for incursion that it's very good because it gives you that 6-inch deep strike, it gives you that +1 AP, it can give you the sticky objective if you want it. I've seen people take him in Plague Legion recently, which is a really interesting tech. And I don't hate it because there's a few stratagems in there that we want to be using quite often. So having an extra bit of CP is nice. Having Vect as well in Plague Legion, I think is actually really good because not just can you restrict where your opponent uses CP through Battle Shocks, where they are using it, you can then just make it more CP. So you can really screw up their stratagem game plan. So and the indirect is not killing the world, but it will do over the course of a game. It will do work. It will do a lot of work. So, and his combat is surprisingly potent for a really old bird. Like he can actually go in and do a fair bit of work in combat when he wants to.
I wish the Lords of Change got what they get in AOS, which is their beacon talons attacks.
Yeah,
as well as the stick.
They should have extra attacks. 100%. Yeah, so he's definitely below the Lord of Change. What about Scarbrand? Is he better than Scarbrand? He's got more utility to him, or is he below Scarbrand?
I think he's just below Scarbrand.
Cool. Okay.
But he's close to Scarbrand because he's good, just in a very different way.
Yeah, they do 2 different things. Scarbrand's your heat-seeking death missile, and Fate Weaver is your utility disruption piece, right? So they're 2 different roles. But I think you're right. I think they're very close in 2 different ways. So, all right, now I'm on my favorite bit. So I know I bang on every time we ever talk about Tzeentch. I talk about being a Tzeentch nerd, but I don't know if I can really keep saying that because if you know me and you've known me for quite a long time, you'll know my playstyle is very Nurgle heavy, and it has been for like early days, mostly Tzeentch. But as we've gone through the last 4 editions, I've very much hit much more Nurgle, and I think it's at this point. Well, yes, I'm a Demon main, just like Byron. Byron is an Incursion main, and I am a Plague Legion main. That detachment is by far my favorite thing this game has ever had. My favorite type of list I've ever played in it, and that's including my soup lists of the one that I almost won LGT with, however many years ago that was, the Plague Bearer Horde, triple Discordant, triple Deredeo. I love that list because it was just so cool. But I love Plague Legion. It is very much designed for me, I think, because it's disruption and it's all that kind of stuff. So whenever I get to talk about Nurgle, it makes me excited. So Great Unclean One, I think A tier. In my opinion, disagree with me if you want to. I think they are the best generic Greater Demon, personally.
Are we talking about the best version like we have for the others?
Yes. Right. Okay. So the best version obviously is different now, right? I feel like they're far more generic than they used to be. So while I think any version of the Great and Clean one is good, I think the Great and Clean one, if we compare bare bones to bare bones, I know we are looking at the best version, and that's what we're going to do. But if we were to take out all the detachment rules, all the enhancements, it's not close. They are infinitely better than Bloodthirsters and Keepers, and they are better than Lords of Change overall. Obviously, the best version of him was 4-up for no pain, and that it doesn't exist anymore. He's now a 5-up for no pain. So, in terms of incursion, I don't think he's auto attack anymore. I think. I mean, I'm not even. This isn't me being big brain. I'm just jacking what this incursion genius I'm currently talking to does. Bellicor, Chicken, Kairos, Rotigus, Scarbrand. They are your 5. Even if you're taking 4, your 4 is going to be It's going to be 4 of those 5. In my opinion, you do it. Chris Langton does it, who's arguably alongside Byron one of the best players that plays demons in this country. It's just
he's actually still taking Guo.
Pardon? He's got a Guo.
He's still taking Guo. He's not taking Rotigus.
But you can. He's taking Guo over Rotigus. No. Okay, I disagree with that. I disagree with that. But the Great and Clean ones are amazing. They are absolutely amazing because, and you can tell I love a Great and Clean one. I do. They're my favorite Greater Demon. T13 is such an amazing breakpoint. Because las cannons and other strength 12 weaponry is now wounding you on 5s, and if they're getting +1 a wound, now wounding you on 4s instead of 3s. There's not much strength 13 in the game. There's quite a bit of strength 6 combat that wants to be hitting them like off of your kind of infantry combat units. So, and they tend to be, a lot of those get like lance and shit like that. So again, you're basically -1 to wound, but making all your Nurgle stuff within 6 inches. Like, in my opinion, they have the best synergy with their other units than the other Greater Demons, because Keepers, okay, +1 AP is okay, but Keepers aren't great. Bloodthirsters +1 hit, it's nice, but Bloodthirsters kind of want to do their own thing. And Lords of Change give them +1 strength. The only unit that really cares about that is Kairos. Like your Flamers and your Horrors, it's so inconsequential. But the +1 toughness is actually a really amazing ability, because T6 Blade Bearers, T10 Beast and Nurgle, that's really good. And T13 Rotigus. The +1 damage debuff is really good, and it stacks. So if you've got 3 of them, you can make one thing -3 toughness. Really nice. And their combat it's really good. It's not Bloodthirster level good, but it doesn't need to be, because they're tough with damage on top of that. Their Heavy Flamer, which is basically what they've got, a Heavy Flamer, is also really nice. And then, I think the argument of dagger versus flail is so, it's not really a thing. You take what you want. I prefer the daggers or the bar blade, because I would rather have the 3 extra attacks in combat, because if I'm going to be within 6, I'm going to be in combat. I would rather do more damage in combat when something charges into me, if they're trying to deny me stuff or whatever. But also, that's where a lot of his combat is going to be coming into it. A lot of his damage is going to be coming into the combat. So, in terms of the best version of it, what is the best version of a Great Unclean one? So, I mean, Endless Gift is still decent, 5 for no pain. He's not unkillable, he's just a really annoying to kill unit now. But he's got the damage to go with it, which is nice. In Plague Legion, Droning Shroud is fantastic. Font of Spores is fantastic. And in Shadow, the Shadow is nice because they get the -1 to wound against the big weapons like your Hunter Killer Missiles and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if they really care about the enhancements in Shadow Legion, do they? Scout 9 is actually not bad on a Grand Clean one, to be fair.
I think it's just better on other stuff, though.
It is 100%. You'd rather on a running combat unit, wouldn't you? But it's not bad on him. You can make him like mini Rotigus by giving him I can't remember the name of it, but the enhancement that gives him or enemy units in engagement range of him are -1 OC.
Yeah.
But I think that has a cap on it. It is capped at minimum 1, isn't it? It's not like Rogus where he's 0, I think. Sorry, Rogus doesn't have a cap, so Rogus can reduce to 0. But I mean, I don't think you have to take them, or nor do you really need him in Shadow Legion. I don't think you want to be taking much in the way of monsters in Shadow Legion, apart from Be'lakor and maybe the Fade Thirster. Don't really think you need monsters in that detachment. Anyway, my excitement is getting a little bit too much, but I love the Ground Clean one. I personally, you're going to need to talk me down from this, I would put it top of A. But I know you're going to fight me in terms of the Lord of Change. So I will let you fight me with the Lord of Change.
No, I think they're good in different ways, right?
They have a balance that none of them have, because they're either good at shooting or good at combat or tough, right? But the Grat and Clean one, actually none of the other Great Demons are really that tough. Whereas the Grat and Clean ones are really tough. That's what they're famous for. Their combat is really good, and their shooting is not phenomenal, but it's also not awful either. It actually can be really potent in the right situation. So they're just their only weakness is their speed and getting around the board. But in Plague Legion, you can Kool-Aid man through walls. That helps massively. So I just feel like they.
I love the Kool-Aid man.
Yeah, I love it. Every time I do it, oh yeah. And my friend's like, oh no. But yeah, no, I just think they have enough of everything that just makes them an all-rounder. And for 250 points, like their value for their durability, their value with what it takes to kill them is insane. But then I do think that is most Nurgle units, is the amount of points it takes to actually kill them is much more than the investment you've put into them. So yeah, I think top of A, but feel free to disagree.
No, we can put him top of A. That's all good.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those data sheets where we have to bear in mind the basic version, and the basic version just clear of the basic version of a Lord of Change.
Yeah, he doesn't. I know we said we're going to go off the best versions, but I think in this case you have to, because the other basic versions need something to make them better. Like you feel like you're losing a little bit if you don't have a role or an enhancement. You don't need that for a Grat and Clean one. It's a bonus. Like I don't know. Draining Shroud is actually really good on a Grat and Clean one. That one I do think is probably one where you do take into consideration. But Font of Spores is also really good.
We use this terminology in when we talk about football. We're talking of floor versus ceiling.
Yeah, definitely.
On the Grat and Clean one, the floor is raised a lot higher.
Yeah, 100%.
Whereas the ceiling is a little bit higher for the greater demons with the enhancements.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
If we consider it that way, I think the Ground Clean one goes just above.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I don't see how this can be disagreed with, but again, talk me down. I think Rotagus is S tier. He's below Be'lakor, but I think he's above. I think he's S tier.
Well, as soon as someone has OC1 and a lot of it on a flank,
you laugh.
Rotagus goes on that flank and just cackles. Yeah. He's a cackler. He loves hitting on an objective and just going, "This is mine. You're gonna have to kill me."
Yeah.
Can you kill me with all of your OC1 stuff? Probably not. And if you don't, I'm going to punish you, because you're going to try and kill me in combat, and I'm going to hit you back.
Yep.
And if
they do, that's taken a lot to do it, which means the rest of your stuff is laughing on the other side of the board, going, "Cool. Well, we're just going to hold the middle on the other flank then," and it's taken you however many hundreds and hundreds of points to kill my 265 point ball of fat. That is, yeah. You're right. If your opponent, I love it. Whenever I rock up to the table and I see that my opponent's got very little damage to, I will make it a mission to hit that damage to as hard as I can with other things. And then Rotagus for me always starts in reserves. I haven't got the luxury of Uppy Downy, but it doesn't need it. He rapid ingresses down. generally on a flank, but in the rare occasions, and it does happen, where my opponent leaves a gap for him to then run to the backfield, he will do it. Like I had it, my last game of the event last weekend, I won. My opponent left me the 9-inch gap, so he rapid ingress down there in his deployment zone, ran up to this unit of intercessors, killed one with his shooting, and then just went, cool, not sticky anymore. That unit can't take it off me. And all of his big shooty units were either dead or stuck with play barriers and a ground clean one. So Rotigus was on the backfield just going, sweet. I got his deck chair out, laid up, and just shot the back of the units that were like on the edge of the deployment zone, just laughing with a cocktail, as he does. It's that -1 aura, my OC aura with no cap is really good. Even against OC2 or OC3 or OC5, because now he can take an objective, or OC6. Like he's walked up to, I've walked him up to Mortarion before I'm going, cool. Like it's not yours. Like -1 is nice, or like throwing something else on there with him to help. Especially in combination. I'm looking at it from a Plague Legion point of view. But when you're battle shocking as well, if your opponent's got 2 units on an objective and they've got an OC1 unit and an OC2 unit, if you can battle shock the OC2 unit, the OC1 unit within range of Rotigus is now OC0. So that's 2 units that your opponent might have had a crap ton of OC on there, but now all of a sudden, within the space of a battle shock and an aura, they've got 0. Which is pretty nuts.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people forget that that's not the only part of that. So that aura has a second part of it that people, like a lot of people go, I didn't realize it did that as well. And it's -2 move, because it feels so inconsequential until you hit something that falls back and does stuff. Because I've had people go, okay, I'm going to fall back and go this way so I can go charge this. I'm like, cool, -2 to move. And they're like, what? Like, why? I'm like, because that's the other part of the rule that no one remembers.
Yeah.
And also that +1 damage ability is insanely good. It's really good. I mean, he makes himself damage 4 or damage 2, which is nuts.
Yeah, being able to clear Space Marines like nobody's business.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be when, so I don't know if you were in the meta of Victrix Guard with 4 wounds, but he was weird tech.
I dodged it, thankfully.
Yeah. So when Victrix Guard first came out and they had 4 wounds,
mm-hmm.
he was like weird tech against them because he was AP3, which they don't like, and damage 4.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite funny. And also damage 2 plague bearers that are hitting something that is now toughness 3 because you've reduced toughness of a ground clean one is also really good, especially when if you've got like if you're hitting lethals on 5s, or if you've got a Scrivener, so you've got sustained and lethals, and he's Nurgle, like he's basically the Nurgle version of Fate Weaver, except his synergies just feel much more impactful, right?
Simply, and this is where we put these models on the tier list, we start to see the impact. Yeah. So like we're in a normal case, if we were saying that Guo's damage was better than Rotigus's, then Guo would be S tier, Rotigus would be A tier.
Yeah,
with Kairos and the Lord of Change.
I mean, D6 versus D6 +1 versus flat 3.
Yeah,
they're almost the same because the average is going to be the average is 4 damage off a ground clean one, right? But we all know it's not. We all know we roll those ones right when we don't want to roll it against a 2 damage or against a 3 damage model, 3 win model. Sorry, but then making a ground clean one D6 +2 damage and 3 damage on the blade, not at that point you can, and also ignore. Like I think his ability became even better in the meta where we're looking at. I know Catan have been nerfed again, but Catan when they got there, we're not half damage and we're -1 damage. He goes, cool. +1 damage on the Nightbringer. Cool. My 2 ground clean ones are now D6 +1 damage. Like that's good. And you can make them. You can be wounding them on 3s with -2 toughness, and you can battle shock them so it can't interrupt. And yeah, it's just he's S tier. He's really really good. I can't believe Chris isn't taking him. That's really surprised me. I couldn't imagine not taking him in a list. He wins the primary game. Again, from a Plague Legion perspective, the combination of him and Battle Shocks, I just find will just win me the game because I've just hit my opponent's primary too hard. But for you, I just feel like he can really swing primary in your favour, or at least against your opponent.
I think for me, Chris and I have spoken about it a few times. So it used to be the conversation was, I prefer Rotigus over Guo because it was more. Actually, no, that was more of a Rotigus versus Kairos thing when Guo still had his 4-up Phone of Pain. And our conversation then used to be, my playstyle prefers nerfing the enemy and making sure I get maximum primary, 40 to 50 points on primary. And in that style, I used to get 40 plus primary pretty much every game. And Chris's thinking behind it, taking Kairos over Rotigus, was he wants to score more points himself. So
fair enough.
Getting the extra CP, causing Vect on things was more valuable than OC reduction.
Yeah.
So where he would play more towards like kill the enemy in the last couple of turns and then just score high primaries that way. Whereas my game relied on a bit more early primary scoring. So there was a slight difference in playstyles that way. Now, we haven't spoken about it much, to be honest with you, but between Grand Cleveland and Rotigus, my thinking is just the maths on it, to be honest with you. Yes, he's one lower toughness and he doesn't give them -1 toughness, but in terms of just like resilience of the model itself, the Grand Clean one, aside from the 4-up Invan, he's mathematically 30 wounds, whereas Rotigus is 26.
Yeah.
So you're talking 4 extra wounds for, what is it, like 20 points more? I think he's 285.
Who? Rotigus?
No, the Grand Clean one with the Endless Gifts.
Oh, yeah, with the Endless Gifts, Endless Gifts is 30 points, isn't it? So he's 280?
280. So 50. So he's 15 points more than Rotigus. And that 15 points in my list specifically upgrades essentially Screamers to Fiends. And I think I love my Fiends. I can't go without my Fiends. So that's part of the reason the Rotigus goes in. And then the other part is the fact that I absolutely love the -1 OC aura compared to the toughness debuff on one thing. In terms of like individual models now, I think in terms of resilience, they are both very similar. The Grand Clean edges it slightly with a few extra wounds mathematically and the toughness 13. But Rotigus' other abilities are so clutch.
Yeah.
And he's 100%. Better in that.
Yeah, he is. He is over the course of averages. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's interesting you brought it up because I know we've spent quite a long time talking on Rotigus, and we will move on, and I think we will now start to speed up. But just the last thing, it's really interesting you brought it up of the playstyle, because I a massive obsession with playstyles, because it's amazing how you've got there's 3 of us here, right? You, me, and Chris. And while you and Chris are playing the same detachment and I'm not, you can see where the differences in playstyle are. So you're playing the same detachment, but that little key change of Rotigus to Grat & Clean one is really interesting. And I mean, I can see where he's coming from on it. I just love him. But then you could both just be like me and just take all of them. Take Grat & Clean ones and Rotigus and then enjoy life more because they're amazing. But no, yeah. I think yes, I personally think he's auto take. I think that's not controversial at all. But in the hands of a player like Chris, where you are good, where your playstyle definitely is more impactful than what you're taking, I think yeah, I get it. I get where he's coming from. So but no, I think he's S tier and it's not a debate, personally. Right, the next 2 we're going to really go quickly through, because otherwise I think you and me will get upset, because 2 of our, well, the first one was one of my favourite units, and we both loved the second one after this. So, Keeper of Secrets. I just C tier.
Yeah, there's really nothing holding it up. Is
Like it's got a lot. It can have a lot of attacks. So 6 strength 8 -3 damage attacks, 4 extra attacks at 6/3/3 dev wounds, and 3 extra attacks at 6/3/2 with the dagger, because you take the dagger now instead of the whip or the shield. And that's all it's got. And 200. It's 240 point monster. There's just better options. Even in the detachment where you would maybe take it. Why would you take it in Legion of Excess over Chariots and Demonettes? I don't see why you would. So, yeah, it's not.
I'll tell you what its comparison point is now, and we were talking about it briefly earlier. Defilers.
Defilers are insane. The new Defiler is insane.
Defilers are insane, but in terms of like points cost and like defensive profiles, that's kind of the comparison for Secrets now.
Yeah, true. Is the Defiler
which is really a little bit? The Defiler is like way better.
The Defiler is it? The Defiler damage now is absolutely nuts. It's bonkers. It's absolute bonkers. I hate that they lost the Feel No Pain. I get it. I think they should. I have always thought they should have a -1 to wound ability on top of the -1 to hit, and they shouldn't be down at strength 8. I'm sorry, they shouldn't be strength 8. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Realistically, the Great Unclean one should be. Remember when the Great Unclean one was strength 8, and we used to compare the size.
Yes.
So, like, realistically, the Great Unclean one should be strength 12, and the Keepers should be strength 10.
I don't disagree with that. Because the Great Unclean ones, I don't know why they were always so weak. Because the Great Unclean ones are strong, like in the lore. They're not slouches. They're carrying.
Just look at the size of the sword.
I know the sword is like 3/4 of a knight. Like it's huge. And the Keeper swords are massive as well. The Keepers should have anti-infantry 2+. I've always said that on the sword, but they should definitely be higher strength. So I just don't see how you put them outside of C tier. The only place you could maybe take it, and I sent you a list not that long ago, because I was really like wanting to make it work and I couldn't get excited for it, which was Keepers in Shadow Legion and with a Scouting Keeper and all that, but it just doesn't work. It just, like, a Scouting Keeper's nice, but nah, it's just, they're just not good. And then on that note, Shalaxi, which is, it makes me sad to this day. I hate what they did to our girl.
Our queen.
Absolute. But I blame Fulgrim. I don't like Fulgrim. He's so bad. We better nerf Shalaxi to match it. She's too many points still. Which is funny, because when she was a lot more points and her old profile, she was way worth it. But she's 340 points. And I don't see why she can't. Like, I hate what they did with her rerolls. So while there's armies like Marines that are getting rerolls wherever they want, and most armies can, why can't she have? I don't get why she can't have rerolls like freely. Why does she have to lock it to a unit that your opponent can hide? Like, it's just stupid.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
It's stupid. I'm okay with her being strength 12 instead of strength 14. That's fine. I get that. That's okay.
I don't like it.
I mean, I don't like it, but I if that was the only nerf, I would have been okay. The Feel No Pain, again, I get it, but they should. Keepers are meant to be incredibly, ridiculously hard to touch, so they should have a -to wound, even Shalaxi. But I just don't get why they needed to take her. I don't get why they needed to take the rerolls away. I don't get it. Like, it was just stupid. Well, they didn't take it away, but they nerfed it massively. So, yeah, I mean, is she better than a Keeper just because she can actually kill things?
Yeah, she's better than a Keeper. I'd put a B tier.
Oh, you think B tier? I had her top of C tier. Do you reckon B tier? I don't know. I don't think she is B tier. Yeah, I don't think she is. If she was, put it this way. She is 35 points more than Scarbrand. She is 35 sorry, 45 points more than Fate Weaver, and she is 75 points more than Rotagus. Like, you can't tell me that they are healthy gaps.
Yeah, you're right.
I think C tier. Above the Keeper, but I think it's C tier.
I'm thinking more about what goes in B. And I think, like, although there's units that are better than her, I think there's going to be stuff that goes in. Majority of the stuff that goes in B tier that is going to be better than her. I think she can go bottom of B tier though.
Okay, right.
Because I don't.
Yeah, okay. I get that. I do get that. There's stuff that can be C tier that she's better than. So we'll put her in B tier for now, but she will be bottom. But we could maybe look at changing that towards the end if we need to. So, okay, I get what you're saying. So now we've got princes. So we've got the footprints, and then we'll do the wing prints. I think the footprints is actually not bad. Now we've got the lone op thing. I think they're still not amazing, but they're not awful. These are very much detachment enhancement built. So I think there is a scintillating footprints. It's very niche, but I think taking a footprint amongst 60 pink horrors with the improbable shield is a very niche list that could have some legs, just to be a real annoying like kind of thing to deal with. I think there is a world where you take in Plague Legion with the droning shroud. I've seen people start doing that. I've played with the idea of it, but I just would rather take a Great Unclean one. But giving out lone op, giving out 18-inch lone up while being 12-inch lone up of the play bearers and stealth is not awful. I don't think you take the footprints outside of that though, right?
No, I don't think so. The lone up is a nice addition. I'm glad they finally did it. It took them long enough.
It's not enough to make it great. Don't get me wrong, but
no, it's a weird unit, right? It's a weird data sheet. Like, you want to try and we used to talk about this before with the Endless Gift, before Great Unclean Ones became good.
Yes,
because that's something that people don't talk about. Great Unclean Ones have gone through a lot of changes this edition.
Yeah, loads.
But yeah, before the Great Unclean One became good, we used to discuss the 4-out Philippine when it was cheaper, going on a Demon Prince.
On a footprint.
And that's where I thought the Demon Prince actually had some kind of value.
Yeah.
To be honest, our whole index has gone through so much change.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you're right. Outside of the occasional Plague Legion list, where you want to run him for stealth, alongside maybe put Draining Shroud on him. He's got lone op, so he can't shot himself. He gets the proper lone op, the 12-inch, not the 18-inch.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's good there. Aside from that, he just doesn't deal enough damage. He's too many points, and he doesn't touch a greater demon.
No, that's what I'm saying. I've seen people starting to take a plate like him in Plague Legion list. I've looked at it, I've weighed it up, and I just don't see where the value is over a Great Unclean One. Like, I get it. You can make him a 12-inch lone up, and you can give out stealth. Is it better than the toughness swap and the toughness debuff and the toughness buff and the combat he offers? I don't think it's even comparable. The Zinch one, the scintillating one on foot, is very much a gimmick, and you just don't take it in the other. You can maybe take it in Plague Legion of Excess with the +1 to hit, +1 to wound auras again around Demonettes, but again, why? It's that detachment's not really doing much as it is. I think it's B tier. I don't think it's awful. I just think it's very gimmicky, and it's just not going to see much competitive play. But there is a world where you can take it in some lists. So I think it's a B tier.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's above the Winged Prince, because the Winged Prince for me solely has value in one detachment.
Scintillating.
Yeah.
With the never.
And even in that, he's not amazing.
No. I toyed around with taking a couple because you can get critical hits on 5s. But it's a gimmick that just isn't worth the points. So Yeah, so I think he's B, and then the Prince is below him in B, but I think they're both above Shalaxi just because of point difference.
Yep. Yeah.
We don't really need to focus on the princes. Everyone knows what they do. They're okay. They're not great. Right. Corner characters. Bloodmaster. I actually really like the Bloodmaster. I think he makes Bloodletters worth taking. What do you reckon? High B.
Yeah, he makes Bloodletters better. I just wish they hadn't changed Bloodletters data sheet rule.
I know.
I don't know why they did the Desperate Escape test.
I know, it's stupid.
So because they've lost the reroll ones to wound, I think his impact is greater on Bloodletters, but unfortunately we base the leader characters off of how much you're going to actually take the squads that they go with. I don't think Bloodletters are amazing.
No,
so
they're not.
I think he's C feels harsh. I think he's B.
Yeah, I agree. High B, I think, because the plus on the wound is good. The consolidate 6 inches in combination with the desperate escape ability, it works, and I actually think that's why they did it. And he is actually not bad either in combat. He's a bit of a beat stick. Flat 3 damage, strength 6 minus 5 attack, strength 6 minus 2 3 damage, I believe. And the plus on the wound is also nice. You can actually mess up Marines quite nice. But you have to remember what unit he attaches to, and it's very one and done, right? So I think he's good in terms of, because I think most of the heralds are not great, and it's one of my biggest problems with this edition. I hope 11th edition we get a little bit of a unit rewrite and a potential detachment that focuses on heralds that actually makes them better. Because I love heralds. I actually prefer heralds over greater demons. But they're just really sad this edition. But in a world of darkness in heralds, I think he's one of the few shining lights. Not amazing, but in comparison to most of them, he's actually not bad.
Yeah, he's the best of a bad bunch, I think.
Yeah,
in terms of not necessarily just Khorne heralds, but Khorne characters that aren't greater demons. I think he's the best of a bad bunch.
He's not the best one. He's the second best one.
You want to talk about Ren Masters?
Well, we'll get to him in a minute. First, we'll look at which I think is the worst Khorne character, and that's the worst than Karanak, and that's the Skullmaster. I think this guy is not very good.
Yeah.
I think he's C tier. I think he's lower key for secrets, if I'm honest. Because
tiny depth that he provides, if you take him, if you really want to run this combination, and that's in Shadow Legion and with Fade.
You touched on it early with the first star.
Things for Fade.
Yeah, well, you touched on it exactly that. You touched on it with the first star earlier. There are other targets you can put it on. It's not that there are other things you can put Fade on. There are infinitely better things you can put Fade on. A Thirster is a better option. Chosen with a Lord is a better option. I think Possessed with the Master of Possession is a better option. Like a brick, like a 10-man brick, obviously. I just think, the problem with Crushers is they can be move blocked incredibly easily. They can also be deployed incredibly poorly. They work in they work in Incursion because you can 6-inch deep strike them, but how many people are actually, do you remember the Blood Crusher rage when everyone was taking them? How many times do you actually see Blood Crushers now? It's not often. It's not often at all. Because
it's in the World Eaters Demon King detachment.
Okay, fine. And if anything, that proves my point more, right? That they are better in that detachment, not ours. Because you can attach a character that lets them move through walls, right?
Yeah.
So, like, the mortal ability is really good, but that's the Blood Crusher issue. That's not his. He does give you an additional dice for the D3 though, which is nice. His ability is giving you death wounds on the horns. Okay, fine, I guess. The Battle Shock ability. Now, this is coming from someone that loves Battle Shock. Battle Shock is my favorite mechanic in the entire game, hence why I love the detachment that I do. But it's so, I just feel so meh. It really feels really meh. I just don't. He could just do so much better. And again, he's a Bloodmaster on a Juggernaut, so his combat is decent. But you're just adding 100-point model to a 220-point unit that need either the 6-inch deep strike to really get to where they want. Yes, they advance and charge in Shadow Legion. Fine, that's good. Depending on the terrain. If you're on UKTC, they're not good. If they're on GW, okay, you've got to play. WTC, they're kind of in the middle. I just don't think if you're taking Crushers, why are you taking him? Unless you're taking Blood Legion, and who does that? You can give him the +2 to charge. You can give him the +2 to charge enhancement. Great. It's a gimmick and a bad detachment. Like, who cares? Yeah, that's my rant over. He's one of those. He's one of the characters that I feel like there's so much wasted potential on, and it really bugs me. I think he's like below Keeper on C tier.
I'd go as far as D.
Okay, I'm not gonna say I thought I was being harsh, but fine, I'm alright with that. Yeah, passionate rant over. But we actually get to go up in the Welding Corn, and we go to the Ren Master, which the Ren Masters are phenomenal. They're A tier. Are they above a Bloodthirster or are they below a Bloodthirster? What do you reckon?
They have to be. They have to be below a Bloodthirster because Bloodthirster is one of the things they're trying to buff.
Yeah, okay, fair dues. But they make Corn combat in general amazing.
Yes.
I mean, they're Rotagus on steroids in terms of the damage buff, right? Because it's +1 strength, AP, and damage, and it stacks if you have multiple. They actually make Bloodthirsters ridiculous because D6 +3, D6 +4, D6 +5, or 3 damage sweep, 4 damage sweep, 5 damage sweep. You can make Scarbrand 9 damage if you have 3 of them, which is absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's massive overkill, but it's funny. But that damage-free Bloodletters also is not awful. And I think their best attachment is Shadow Legion, by a country mile. Because advance and charging them is great. It gets them into positions where they can use their aura better. And I think Bloodletters are, again, their best. They want to be buffing Corn in general, but I think Bloodletters is the unit that benefits most from them. Maybe the Thirster as well. And the detachment where you're going to be taking Bloodletters mostly is going to be Shadow Legion. So that's why I think they are best in Shadow Legion. There is a place in Incursion, but I feel like Incursion is so heavy on the monsters. You need to then start looking at your chap units. He just doesn't fit in. He's priced out because of the other stuff. In my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Shadow Legion is the place for them because when you're limited to not being able to take epic heroes, you start looking at other options, and that's one of the best options. Like, yeah,
definitely.
Straight away, I look at the Ren Master and go, he improves my Fade Thirster.
Yeah, again, and that's the other thing is you want that Fade Thirster killing what it touches, especially if it gets heroic. So by being able to point and click with 1 or 2 of these guys, just makes him a lot more potent and dangerous. So yeah, 100%, 100%. Right. Skull Taker. I have a really weird kind of him and the Bloodmaster always get compared, and I get it because they're the attachable Bloodletter characters, and there's always been a bit of an underlying one or the other. Which one do you take? And Skull Taker's cool. I mean, Skull Taker is. I feel like Skull Taker is one of the most iconic demon characters, right? I think he's one of the characters, especially when it comes to the heralds. He's definitely the most iconic herald, sans the Changeling, maybe. But I just prefer the Bloodmaster. Like, he gives the unit death wounds, and when you start stacking out with Ren Master buffs, fine, that's good. It's really good, actually. And he's a bit potent against characters. He's pretty good in combat. I just think the +1 to wound is just overall better buff on the bloodletters than the dev wounds, in my opinion.
My problem with Skull Taker. I was just going to check his points cost actually. How many points? Do you know how many points?
85 points. Or 80
85.
points. 80 or 85, one of the two. I think he's 85.
He's 85.
85.
Yeah.
Cool.
So he's 20 points more than a Bloodmaster. He doesn't have 20 points more worth of buffs compared to a Bloodmaster.
No.
Their combat is not that different. Not different enough to say that it justifies the points cost.
He's got dev wounds, inbuilt precision, and I think he has an extra attack.
Yeah. Which is, it's good. It's very good.
Yeah.
But if you compare that he's slightly better on a personal level, the Bloodmaster buffs the unit far more.
Exactly. Which is far more important in my opinion.
Yeah, it's more important to get more saves on the enemy because you have such a lack of attacks on bloodletters.
Yeah,
compared to getting a few dev wounds through.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you look at a whole squad, you've got 20 attacks. You're going to hit it with 12 or 13. That is 2 dev wounds. Versus
on
if you've got the Bloodmaster and you're hitting Marine equivalents because you're strength 5, you're wounding on 2s. If you've got 12 hits, you're going to wound with 10. Versus wounding with 8 with Skull Taker and 2 of them guaranteed dev wounds. So you don't get a save. But it's just, it feels like swings and roundabouts initially, but then you also add the fact that the Bloodmaster is 20 points cheaper. He gives the consolidation ability.
Yeah.
All of that kind of just tallies up to he's better than Skull Taker and he's cheaper.
Yeah.
Because he's buffing.
Exactly.
On a personal level, if you want to take Skull Taker, I think Skull Taker is a solid unit on his own.
100%. That's exactly what I was going to say. Is in terms of buffing the Playbearer, buffing the Bloodletters, which is what you want to do with these characters. The Bloodmaster is better, but taking Skull Taker on his own as just an absolute weapon is not bad because he's chunky in combat. You know, he's got this dev wounds, and you can use him as a character hunter if you really want to. Yeah, I mean, the problem with Skull Taker, and it's the problem I think a lot of them have, is the detachment. The detachment he wants to be in, you're not allowed to take him in, being Shadow Legion. Because he would love Advance and Charge, and he would love... Well, you can get Advance and Charge in a couple other detachments, but he wants inbuilt Advance and Charge, because spending a CP on Advance and Charge on him is a bit sad. And he wants Lance, because Lance and him would be very good. Problem is, again... He
doesn't get on with Bellicor. That's the problem with a lot of these characters. They don't get on with Bellicor. Just, guys, be friends with Bellicor.
I know. No, it's good Bellicor's a jealous bitch. He's a jealous bitch. I mean, Bellicor is my favourite character, period. I love Belly. But he's a jealous bitch. We know that. But, yeah, I think as a hunter-killer missile on his own, you can take him, but again, it's the same problem Incursion has, is what are you dropping for him? I don't see why you would do that. You can't take him with Shadow Legion. And here's the big problem that we've encountered already when it comes to talking about the Khorne units. We're not talking about them in their own detachment.
Yeah.
There's a problem there, right? And Slaanesh is the same. I really want to see, and I know I'm not a Khorne fan, it is the complete opposite way of how I play the game, and I won't play it unless it gets very good. But I really want them to buff that, because it's sad. Because we should be able to talk about each of these units and how they are best in their detachment, right? And that's just not the case. And it's sad. But yeah, so I think...
We've been saying for ages that Blood Legion as a detachment, Advance and Charge should be a army rule.
It should be.
And the reactive move needs to be the stratagem.
Yes, I agree. I 100% agree. The Advance and Charge and sticky objectives would be fine. And then, in that case, that detachment now becomes actually fairly good. Or at least it becomes usable. It still doesn't touch the 3 best ones. Well, obviously, Incursion is the best one. Shadow Legion and Plague Legion, I think, are very similar in terms of power level. Scintillating is good as well, but it's got weaknesses. but Core and Legion of Excess is miles off of those detachments, but then Blood Legion is miles off of Excess. So yeah, so I think B tier behind the Bloodmaster, in my opinion.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Karanak, right. My problem with Karanak is he's got, and I despise this type of rule. Same as Shalaxi. He's got at the beginning of the battle round, pick a prey, and his unit can re-roll wound rolls against that unit, and if it dies, you can reallocate it. I think the way this ability should be, for him and Shalaxi and other units in the game that have this, it should be like Oath. So at the beginning of the battle round, you pick his prey, and for the rest of the battle round, he can re-roll wound rolls, his unit can re-roll wound rolls against it, and then you can allocate again. Same as Shalaxi, she picks her quarry at the beginning of each battle round. So make it, that Oath style ability. Then that ability is actually good. I get it on a fluff level, on a casual level. It's fluffy, right? It is very fluffy. I just competitively, it's just an awful rule. It just doesn't work very well. You can reroll advance and charge rolls for his unit. Again, that would be great if you could take him in Shadow Legion. There's a bit of a pattern forming here. In terms of combat, I mean, he's mini Scarborough. No, he's not. He's mini Skull Taker because he's got precision, and I think he's got anti-character 3+ or 4+, 3+, I think. And I think it's 6 attack, 6/2/2, I believe. I think. Yes. Is that right? Yeah. Fuck knows how I remembered. Yeah. I don't have a clue how I managed to remember that. It's amazing what your brain can retain, because I've looked at his data sheet maybe 3 times. But yeah. I mean,
there's a couple of things. You made a really good point on the whole reroll wounds thing. Yes, it needs to be like Oath, same as Shalaxi. What I really wish he had, the thing I like that they've stuck to the lore on, he's OC3. That is.
Yeah, I love that, but only because it's cool that they did that, because we know why they did that. It's because of his heads, and I love that. Yeah. That's really cool that they did that. That's the coolest thing about him, to be honest. He's definitely
to have more wounds. He needs to be tougher. The only reason he's not tougher is because he needs flesh hounds at the same toughness. And we'll get to them later. Those bastards need to be tougher as well.
Yeah, they do.
But yeah, he needs to be tougher, and he needs to have more wounds. And his collar getting a 3-up Fiona Pain is a bit mad.
Yeah, but it's only against mortals and psychic.
Yeah, and
it's so niche. Same as the flesh hounds.
It could be better.
It could be infinitely better. You mentioned something about him. This was a long time ago. This was one of the first tier lists we did, so we're going back a couple years ago. And you said about he should be an absolute animal, pun intended, but a lone op. And I would love that. Just make him, and maybe he has an aura that affects flesh hounds, but just make him or make them just an absolute insane, runs to something and rips a unit apart, just stupidly good. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I've never seen the two between Skull Taker and Karanak. I've never seen them as leaders. I've only really thought them in terms of lore as lone op.
Yeah.
So where similar to how the Changeling and the Blue Scribes, they're not fucking leaders. No, they are lone ops.
I agree. I think all of the named heralds should be lone up. So both of the Zinch ones are lone up. One of the Sineshi ones is lone up. Celeste should also be a lone up monster. And the Nurgle one,
There's no reason that Celeste should be leading Demonettes.
No, and the Nurgle ones can be lone ups, and we'll get onto them. But they could. You're right. The named ones should all be lone up. All of them. Skull Taker is a character hunting missile. Karanak is a general. He's a wild animal that wants to rip the face off of the first thing he sees, and he should be able to munch through 5-man marine units, or screw that. He should be 3 damage, man. He shouldn't be 2 damage. You should
he is the kind of model. He should be 3 damage, 1 for each head.
Yeah, exactly.
He is the kind of model that I look at and go, he needs to be having a reactive move, a free heroic intervention, flipping toughness 5 or 6, load like 8 wounds because it's the number of.
Make him our what's his name? The Necron guy. What's it? The snake guy. Amatar? Is it Amatar? Necrosaur. Him. He should be our version of him. Agree?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So right, let's move on. Well, where do we think? Top C above the keeper, because he's better than the keeper. Well, he's cheaper.
He is better than the keeper. Yeah, not by a lot, but he is.
No, I think C above the keeper. Yeah. Right. Change caster. I'm gonna put it in D. I think, and again, it has a mechanic that I like in the battle shock, but it's only on certain units and it's on a roll. It gives sustain to horrors. Who gives a shit? Again, it's just such a wasted. And the Zinch characters, I can't do this because I'm going to get really angry. But the Zinch characters feel like some of the biggest, the generic heralds feel like some of the biggest, if not the biggest waste of heralds in that out of all of this, because they should be so much better. A change caster should buff horrors in a way like he can return horrors back to a unit, or he lets you re-roll split rolls or something like that. That's what he should do.
A change caster, for me to consider taking him, genuinely, it's not a joke. I think he'd have to be 30 points.
Yeah, agreed. He's 60 points. He's awful. Yeah, I think he's actually contender for one of the worst units. And that's coming again. This is coming from a Plague Legion player. He has the Battle Shock ability, and it's not good because it's on a 4+, and it only affects one of the best Battle Shock units we have probably in the game. Also, only affects.
Is it on the 4+?
I think so. Double check it. Maybe I'm thinking. I'm thinking Exalted Flamer, and maybe it's not. Maybe it's just. Sorry, I think I'm
Exalted Flamer plus, but you have 3 shots, and you have to hit an infantry unit with one of them to cause the battle shock test.
So it's not on a dice roll. It's an auto battle shock test, but it's only infantry.
It's an auto battle shock test, but you still have to hit them. So if you've got 3 shots and you missed with one of them,
you're minus 1.
You hit on them.
Yeah, you don't get it.
Yeah.
He's just not good. I think he should. And again, I really hope they revisit at the start of 11th. We get a Herald detachment, and they revisit the data sheets for them. He should be something buffing horrors in terms of replenishing unit or letting them reroll splits or something along those lines. That's what he should be doing.
I would see one of his abilities be called Moonface.
Yeah, he has an upgrade. You can take Moonface on him. I don't know what it would do, but I agree. And that's the annoying thing. He's actually one of the coolest demon models because of the Moonface. The other ones are meh. Yeah. He's got bad face and generic horror face, but Moonface is it's cool. I think I have about 4 Moonfaces, if I'm honest. Because every time I've built one, I'm like, right, I will build it with a different head, and I'm like, fuck it, I just want Moonface because it's cool. It's just he's not good. I think at the moment the bottom unit by far.
How low does the tier list go in terms of tiers?
Oh, it goes D. If we could put him basement with a key and never seen again, I would, but no, he's D. He is generally...
He's the lowest of the low.
He is.
Well, actually, no, there's fortifications that we're going to end up talking about.
No. We're not talking about the fortifications. Fuck the fortifications. We don't talk about the things that give cover to an army with very little armor save. Like, no. Next is the Fluxmaster, and this one actually annoys me more than the Changecaster, because it actually is not bad. But can someone tell me why this bastard does not lead Screamers and leads Horrors instead? Can someone please explain that to me? Does no one remember 7th edition and 6th edition where Screamer Star was a thing and he led Screamers? Does no one remember that? No? Like, tell me
Apparently,
why a guy on a disc
the
leads
disc that
infantry.
the model is flying on that looks so much like a screamer.
It
Apparently,
is a
it's not a screamer.
screamer. Discs are modified screamers. The screamers have been molded into a disc. That is their law. Tell me why this guy leads horrors and not screamers. That is another thing I want them to change in 11th edition. Is I want them to. I get way too passionate about this. I still have a massive love for my Zinch. And again, this is what I'm saying. This is where my love is. I love Heralds. I much prefer the Heralds over the Greater Demons. But they're just so frustrating. Otherwise, -1 to hit is not bad, especially on pink horrors. It's actually pretty good. But if you're taking them with Shadow Legion, then you don't need him. And he has a fate dice, which is nice. I wish he gave his unit rerolls instead of having the fate dice, personally. Like, reroll once a hit. But then it wouldn't matter on horrors. It would only matter on screamers. So that's where I'm at with him. He's beaten. Is he better than the princes? I think he's better than princes because he actually provides you more.
Is Bloodmaster in B tier?
Yeah.
We can't put Fluxmaster in B tier then.
Okay, then we'll put him above Karen and C tier.
Yeah.
Fair dues. And another one. Fate Skimmer, which these should not lead screamers. These should be the definition of low not within 3 inches. Make them what they were in the psychic editions. They were everyone took them as psychic batteries, right? They would sit there and they would crap out a ton of like psychic mortal wounds. That's what they should do. They should just be shooting platforms, but psychic shooting platforms, like better than a burning chariot. Or hear me out. Make burning chariots like hellflayers. You can take them in units of 2 and you can attach this guy to them. Is that not, can we not do that? No?
Is better than him leading screamers.
Yes. It's almost like we know demons better
Also,
than rules writers.
What kind of a buff? What kind of a disgraceful buff is lethal hits to screamers? I'm sorry.
I know, it's so stupid. It's lazy. They were just incredibly lazy when they wrote the Herald rules. You can see it. I mean, they were incredibly lazy when they wrote lot of the rules. Hence why all of the Greater Demons, bar the Bloodthirster, have had a rules rewrite. Right? I'm pretty sure that's right. They've had some change. I think the Bloodthirster is the only one that hasn't.
Bloodthirster, no, he didn't. No.
Everyone else has. So that says it all, right? Including Bellicor. Bellicor's had a rules rewrite as well. Just to show you that they realised, we probably need to do something about this because the original rules are not very good. They were just a bit too one-dimensional. The Heralds, they just never bothered to upgrade or change or rewrite. So, yeah, he gives a once per game uppy downy. And then, again, who cares? The 2 detachments you would take him in. Why is it once per game? Yeah, why is it once per game? And the 3 detachments you would take him in all have uppy downy stratagems. So who cares? No. He should be attachable to burning chariots or alone not within 3 inches of certain units, and his sole purpose should be throwing out a lot of damage through shooting. He's D tier. Is he better than the blood? Is he better than the Skullmaster? No, I don't think he is. I think he's below Skullmaster personally.
Because what he leads, the buff is so damn useless. At least the Skullmaster gives something to what he leads.
Yeah, then it's not that the Skullmaster's buffs are useless. Or they just don't mean much. But they actually do give the Crushers something that in sometimes can be useful. Who cares about lethal hits and screamers? No one. So, right, we can actually get a little bit happy. I feel like we've been really harsh here with the Zinch, but we can actually get excited on this one because it is arguably the best named Herald in the Changeling.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, of course it is. Who is? Yeah. There isn't. The only one close to him is the Mask, and I don't think she's better than him. He's A tier. He's 100% A tier. But how A tier is he? That's the question.
I don't think he's above the Greater Demons.
Is he above?
Is the Bloodthirster in A?
Huh?
Is the Bloodthirster in A?
Yes. He's It's Grand Clean 1, Lord of Change, Scarbrand, Kairos, Thirster, Red Master. That's A2 in that order.
I think he's been Thirster and Renmaster.
So he's not a buffing piece, but he's very much a disruption piece.
Yep.
But he's very good at being a disruption piece. Very good at being a disruption piece. And also his damage is not awful. His flamer is on top profile.
Is flamer D3 damage?
Yeah.
Like, it's better than a Grand Clean 1 flamer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Is it D6 plus 2 or D6?
D6 plus 3.
It's D6 plus 3. It's exactly the same. It's the same amount of shots, but it's better strength but less AP. Is it strength 6 minus 1?
Yeah, but it's also D3 damage.
Yeah, it's D3 damage. Yeah, so it is on average better. But I mean, it's psychic damage, so that's fine. But his combat is really naff, but it should be. Well, no, it shouldn't be because his rules were always mimicking who he was in combat with because that's his whole gimmick.
Yeah.
But there is something really funny about pointing at a really shooty enemy unit and going, "Oh, I've just rolled a 6. Screw you and your shooting." Especially a unit that can fade after shooting, because that's even funnier. Because it's like, cool, you're not eligible to shoot, which now means you can't. Because I'm pretty sure those abilities can only happen after a unit shot, or are they like? I don't know. Maybe there is. Either way, it's still really nice, especially if the Twin Lance pops up and you go, "No, screw you."
Yeah.
-1 to hit. Otherwise, on a 2 to 5 is not awful. But I think his key is the disruption ability of the battle shock. So your opponent running onto your backfield to try and charge him and failing the battle shock means they don't take it off you and he just sits there laughing is really funny. It's funny in Zinch as well because then you can pull him out of combat if you want to, which is also funny. You can't take him Shadow Legion, unfortunately.
Still was what he used to do additions past, which is mimicking what he's in combat with.
Yeah,
getting to mimic.
You could take the strength and AP and attacks. Yeah, I remember I want to say it was 6th edition, and it was I think it was a captain run up to him with a power fist, and he tanked his inruns, and then took the guy's power fist or made the power fist back and killed the captain. I was like, that's fucking hilarious. Yeah, he used to be. One of
these like old rules interactions I've seen with the Changeling was with Jane Czar, and so Jane Czar, before she got a new model, she used to have an ability where she could disarm the opponent of a melee weapon.
That's quite cool.
Changeling had the ability to mimic her melee weapon. So it was like,
so she takes the staff out of his hand and goes, "Yeah, no staff for you." She just goes, "All right, mate, I'll just have your big weird thing spear instead. That's fine." Think that's actually hilarious.
This was where like the order of things mattered. So depending on whose turn it was,
an initiative, that was a thing.
An initiative, yeah, it could be that the Changeling gets to mimic Jane Czar's spear and then she disarms him, or she disarms him with his stick and then he gets to mimic her spear. Depending on whose turn it was, it could be either way. It was mental.
But he's 40k's biggest troll, and I love the Changeling. And one of my favourite pieces of lore, which we've discussed past, is involving the Changeling, where he caused a 10 million year war in the warp between Sinesh and Khorne by dressing up as a Khorne demon in the Sinesh realm. It was just, and also going on the rock and screwing the rock up is also absolutely hilarious. He's amazing. He's really good. Blue Scribes, there's not really much to talk about. It's a lone up that moves 12 inches. It's got some anti-psychic stuff. It's a C tier because it's a lone up, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I think it sits above the Flux Master and Karanak and the Keeper just because it is a lone up.
Because
So
he's a lone op. Karanok would be like B tier if he was a lone op.
yeah,
A tier if they did stats
if
as
he
well.
actually became really good, yeah. Yeah, the changeling is just a lone op. The blue scrubs is just a lone op. His abilities are meh. There was a time when it was 65 points. He was in they were in every list because it was a 65-point lone op. There is a place in scintillating by having him, using him to shoot through the puppeteer, or the puppeteer to shoot through him. Sorry, because he's a lone op. So for extra uninteractiveness, but you can also do that with the changeling. So, but then you could take the changeling and a footprint and him, and have all of the lone ops with the puppeteer behind, just for ultimate like Zinchi bullshit. But yeah, Exalted Flamer
shouldn't even be on the list.
I agree.
Yeah,
it's another it's funny how
4+ Pack Shock.
I know. No, it's not that. It's 4+ -2 move, -2 advance, -2 charge.
It's not good.
No. His shooting's okay. Also, and don't forget his best rule, it gives advance and shoot the flamers. You know, the unit that's going to drop down and mostly do actions. That unit with a basic AP1 flamer. You know, that unit.
It's such a shame, right? Because we have so many of these models.
I know.
Anyone who has demons has so many exotic flamers.
I have 3 exotic flamers and then 3 that sit on the chariot. So
that's what I mean. That's
because I have max chariots. I have 3 burning chariots, 3 fate skimmers. So you obviously have 3 basic. No, I think I have 4 because I think I actually had another chariot that I tore apart in the end because I wanted to use the screamers as actual screamers. But yeah, so I think I've actually got 449 about somewhere, but I don't know where he is. It's got some okay shooting. Is that enough to put it at the bottom of C tier? I think maybe.
No, he's in D.
You think so? I mean, he's not great, but I think the shooting might pull him above the other guys.
What shooting? A burning chariot does what he does.
Yeah, but he can hide better. Yeah, okay, fine. Where are we putting him? Top of D? Or is he... is he better than the Skullmaster? I don't think he is, to be fair. Nah, he's not better than the Skullmaster. That, granted, I'll put him in below the Skullmaster, but above the Fate Skimmer, because I do think he's better than the Fate Skimmer.
Yeah, okay. Fate Skimmer's a mug, mate.
Yeah, the Fate Skimmer.
Better than the Fate Skimmer.
Yeah, Fate Skimmer's awful. The Fate Skimmer is happy the Changecaster exists, because otherwise he'd be at the bottom. Right. Now we actually get to talk. Now we don't get to be so sad, because I think the next 3 are actually all good, at least in some kind of variation. And one of the named characters is not bad. The other named character is, again, one of the why the hell is this not a lone op? So, Poxbringer. I like the Poxbringer. I like the Poxbringer a lot. Now, I am biased, but that -1 Battle Shock aura is really good when you're throwing out however many Battle Shocks. And when you're pairing him with the Cankerblight Piper, just is really good. Also, Poxbringers are actually surprisingly potent in combat. Like, those guys are actually not bad, especially when they're lethaling on 5s. And in 11th edition, they're going to get to keep, like, little characters keep their abilities when their unit dies because they don't forget that they get those abilities. So he'll always be able to lethal on 5s, presumably, which is nice. And also, surprisingly tough. T5 wins 5 up in 5 up for no pain. Like, I've had people go into, I've got assassinate, I'll just precision him, and he's just gone, no, behave yourself. Yeah, I like the Poxbringer. I think they're B tier, but I think they're better. Are they better than they're very much dependent on their detachment, right? But they're very good in Plague Legion. There's a place for them in Shadow Legion. There's a place for them in Shadow Legion if you want to take them as a drop-down 32 mil base unit. You're not taking them in any other detachment, really, are you? Let's be real.
I think, yeah, there's better options than him in the other detachments.
Yeah. I'll put him below Skull Taker, because Skull Taker has a bit more utility to him. But if this was a Plague Legion detachment, he's in A tier, 100%. But I think he sits below Skull Taker and B tier. Agree?
Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
This guy is going in A tier, and I'm not having any arguments on it, and that is the Bowl Piper.
Just for his name, I think he deserves to go.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going name, he's the best unit in the index, right? He is top of S tier. Like, he is notoriously like the best named unit or character or model in the entire game. And I feel like Sloppy Bile Piper, and he's also got an amazing model, and he's got a dancing Nurgling. What's not to love about that? Now,
who doesn't love a Nurgling that looks like it's doing ballet and is an opera singer at the same time?
To be fair, he's generally one of the best Nurglings around. Sassy Nurgling is probably the only one that beats him out, because Sassy Nurgling is bae. But the Bile Piper is still one of those units that annoys me, because he doesn't do the right thing. Because he should be going off of his past abilities and rules that he's always had before this edition. He should be not attachable to play bearers. He should be low, not close to Ground Clean ones or Nurglings, and he should give Ground Clean ones and Nurglings like extra movement and extra attacks. That's what he should do. Or he gives some
That's
kind
who he plays the pipes.
Huh?
That's who he plays the pipes for. He doesn't play the pipes for the plague bearers.
No,
plague bearers don't work.
No, I know. But saying that, he's got an upside to him, because I just think he's very good. So the best version of him, it's not close. It's the Canker Blight. The Canker Blight is generally the most gotcha-y thing that we think we have in general, because unless you know, you don't really know. The amount of people I play against, that I will explain it to them. And to be fair, unless they're people that either know demons, or they know because they read all the detachments and they learn them, or they know who I am, or they know me and they know that this is what I play. Whenever I'm rattling off what Plague Legion does, most people in their head, they're like, oh, cool. You can see they're not tuned in, because that Battle Shocks. No one cares about Battle Shocks until they start playing it, and they're like, oh, this is actually a problem. And then whenever I explain the Canker Blight, again, in their head, they're like, oh, okay. Because again, they're just thinking, I'll fail one battle shot, or they're thinking of like one battle shot throughout the game or something like that. They're not thinking this guy's going to pop, or they're going to have 2 to 3 to 4 battle shocks in the space of a command phase to a command phase, right? And they're not thinking they're going to lose characters. Now, I explain this. I don't catch people out. I explain that he can pick up individual characters or individual infantry models if they're near him. I make it very clear that characters are not safe, but it still doesn't comprehend. I want to say he has killed upwards of 30 low knock lieutenants now off of Canker Blight, which is amazing.
God.
Yep, he's killed a couple. He's killed a few Dantes. He's killed the Sanguinor. He's killed Calgar. He's killed the Changeling. That was my favorite one, because my opponent was like, "Go on, Battle Shock." I'm like, "No, you Battle Shock." Oh shit, you failed. No, he's dead. Sorry. What else? Who else has he killed? He's killed a lot of infantry characters. It's ridiculous. Trade Jam. He's killed Trade Jam a couple of times. I could rattle this list off all day. Either way, he's the best value for points I've ever played, because he at least triples his points every game. That's maybe I'm over exaggerating. He can triple his points. He can make his points back double generally every game minimum. I think I ended up killing 500 odd points with him in one game through Battle Shocks, which is ridiculous.
In case anyone's watching this that doesn't know how many points this guy is, by the way, he's 75 points. So we're talking about...
He's not. He's 70 points. With Canker Blight.
He's 70 points. When we're talking about at least double points, we're talking about like 2 Alaris Custodians.
Yep. Oh, he loves Custodies. Oh my god, that is my favourite matchup. Considering they are my least favourite army in the entire game, Custodies. Bar Tau. Everyone hates Tau. I hate playing Custodes. But ever since playing Plague Legion consistently, I now no longer hate it. And I remember, oh no, the best. So before we move off him, I could gush about this guy all day long. Before we move off him, my favourite instance he's ever done was in the space of a command phase and my opponent's movement phase. So I was playing against Wardens. So I ran in to Wardens. I had a Demonette unit. This was when I was running Demonettes alongside him. So I had a Demonette unit plus him plus the Poxbringer, right? So at the start of the fight phase, I made my opponent choose if they were going to do the Warden stuff, the Thorn Pains, which he did. He popped the Thorn Pain. So his whole unit of Plague Bearers were in combat. The Poxbringer, and I think it was like 3 Plague Bearers because the rest of his unit was quite messed up. They were in combat, and I think there was like 2 Demonettes touching the Warden unit, but the rest were touching a Venatari squad, I think it was. And so my opponent had 2 -2 battle shocks to take at the start of the fight phase. Failed the first one on the Warden, so killed. So he had 4 Wardens and a Blade Champion. No, 5 Wardens and a Blade Champion. I killed a Venatari, and then I killed a Warden off the battle shock. I then did +1 to hit battle shock off of the Bar Parper unit. I ended up killing, I think I got lucky and I killed another. No, I didn't. I lie. I did 1 wound off a Demonette. I actually did no wounds off of the Plague Bearer units at all. Not even the Poxbringer did anything. But he failed the battle shot test, so I picked up another guy. So at this rate, I've cut through 2 Thorn Pains without having to even bother about the Thorn Pains. So that's it. He kills a few Plague Bearers. He doesn't wipe the whole unit out. I think there's like 3 Plague Bearers in the Bar Parper left at the end of it. I then have him surrounded. He decides I'm going to fall back and proceeds to fail all 3. No, sorry, I lie. He then fails the battle shock test. So then he's now down to 2 Wardens and the champion, the Blade Champion, because I kill another one off of the battle shock test in his command phase. And then he fails all 3 Desperate Escape tests and can't re-roll the Blade Champs because he's battle shot and they die off the Desperate Escape. And it was absolutely phenomenal. So I killed an entire Warden squad and a Blade Champion without technically causing a wound to them, which was brilliant.
So I was just having a look at the Cankerbline enhancement. I was like, why does Franco hate playing against Tau? Maybe because they're all vehicles.
Yep, I hate it because they rock up with all of the crisis and the ghost kills and the riptides. I'm like, sweet. Not the worst one. Chaos Knights is the worst one. You rock up and you're like, sweet. Well, I guess he's going to sit on his own at the backfield and just hide, I guess, because my Knights tend to assassinate against me and bring it down. Yeah. So he just detaches and hides in the backfield because he does nothing against them. But it's fine because I will stop talking about him. Long story short, Cankerblight is enough to make him A tier. I still think, because of his Battle Shock aura, or his ability to cause Battle Shocks, if your opponent charges into you and he can Battle Shock, that's stopping him from flipping objectives, it's stopping him from using stratagems, so there is actually a place for him in other detachments. I think he's good in Shadow Legion. But Plague Legion is where he's at. Cankerblight, if you're taking a Cankerblight on a ground clean one and not him, you're doing it wrong. It's not an opinion, it's a fact, you're wrong. End of. Yeah, he's A tier. Where in A tier? Does he sit at the bottom of A tier? Maybe.
I think.
Yeah, I though to be fair, he's very dependent on your opponent's rolls. Because if your opponent passes every battle shot test, then he does nothing. But you get those games where it snowballs and it gets ridiculous. Whereas everything else.
Changeling.
Huh?
I think he's next to the Changeling.
Above the Ren Master?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to argue it. I just don't want to be too biased, so I'll let you decide that. Yeah, okay. He'll go below the Changeling, above the Ren Master, because his potential is just insane. It's absolutely nuts when he gets rocking. Right, we will start to speed through the rest of this now because we are getting quite a long time. How long have we been filming? Quite a long time. So, Scrivener, quickly go through him. +1 OC, sustained hits on a unit that has lethal hits that you can get to critical 5s in Plague Legion. As a Plague Legion player, I like him. I don't take him over the other 2, but I have taken him and he's fine. OC3 Plague Bearers is good. You could give him Scout 9 in Shadow Legion with the Plague Bearers. It's not awful. He's B tier. He probably sits below the Poxspringer, but above the Princes. Agree?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do that.
I think so. Epidemius. He should be a loan up. And this is another one because I used to love his tally, and his tally is absolutely butchered. Because before it used to be every time a Nurgle model killed enemy model, you put one on the tally, and the buffs were like extra movement, pluses the hit, better strength, etc., etc. Now it's just, and it's really badly done as well. It's in your command phase, if your tally's at 7 or higher, you reduce it to 0. It should just be reduced by 7. You gain a CP, which is not bad. He does give his unit play bearers a 4-up in one, which is actually quite nice. And you can really abuse that. I mean, I know Lawrence was taking that unit, keeping it in range of, I think, did he use a Demon Prince? I think he used a Demon Prince, didn't he, with the Draining Shroud, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. So he had the stealth. The stealth, loan up 18, 4-up in one, and then you can replenish them through battle shocks and the 2 CP strat. Not bad. He's also a bit of a beat stick. He's not bad. He's got quite a lot of attack. I think he's like D6 plus 2 attacks or something silly like that in combat at strength 5 minus 2 damage.
Like 5/2/2.
Yeah, because apparently his Nurgle in attendance have his sword. But he should be a loan up, and he should have a proper tally again. He's B tier. I think he's probably below the Scrivener in my opinion. The problem is, and I think some Plague Legion players definitely don't do this properly, the models you kill off the battle shocks don't actually contribute to his tally, because the Nurgle model isn't killing it. It's the battle shock ability that's killing it. It's demonic terror. Even the Bile Piper isn't killing it. It's just demonic terror. Whereas actually it's not demonic terror. It's I still don't think the Canker Black does, but it is actually slightly different. Either way, I think there's some Plague Legion players. So if you're playing against Plague Legion, watch out for that, because dying through battle shock doesn't feed his tally. And if it did, I'd definitely consider him more, but because I'm doing a lot of my damage through that, I just feel like I'm missing. I could spend those 80 points better. Oh Christ. Slimux, massively wasted potential. He should be loan up.
Isn't he basically he's basically a terrain piece, isn't he? Do we need to talk about him?
We will very briefly touch on him. So I've always hated his ability. He can touch a piece of terrain and make it shadows. Okay. I mean, in Plague Legion, you can make it shadows if your opponent touches it. But let's be real. If he's getting close to any piece of terrain, like, why does it matter? It so doesn't matter. He can attach to beasts, and he gives them... it gives them a free heroic once per game, and he might... Is it +1 to hit it gives them? I can't remember. But he gives them a free heroic once per game. I know that.
They should have the free heroic anyway.
Yeah, like they used to. But, I mean, to be fair, I'm okay with what they have. Beasts are fine. Beasts are amazing. But yes, they should still have a free heroic. But then it wouldn't be 65 points. I would rather be 65 points and no free heroic, to be honest. He's just not good. He's got some combat on him. Bottom of C, I don't think he's quite in the list. If we're putting the Skullmaster in D, I think he's got to sit in D as well, to be honest. Because I think the Skullmaster is actually better than him. He's 120 points as well, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a bit of a disgrace.
Yeah, no, I'll put him below. He's going to go in D10. He's going to go below there. And I know there's people that think the terrain shadow ability is cool. And that's whenever you get a Slimux defender, that is what they go, oh, but look at that ability. It's not good. Right, you don't need it. Your Greater Demons protect it. In Plague Legion, everything protects it. It just doesn't matter.
In 11th edition. When terrain is going to become...
Do you know what? Yes, because terrain actually matters much more.
Yeah.
There might be a place for him. We'll look at that then. Right now, he's dog. Right. Moving into Slaneshi characters. Transweaver. I mean, she's okay. she gives the Demonettes the ability they used to have, which is to reroll ones or reroll all hits. Reroll hit rolls a 1, or reroll all hits if the opponent is on an objective. That's not bad, to be fair. And then she's got her really weird battle, like reroll. Is it reroll hits and wounds, or just reroll?
I
wounds?
don't understand how that ability didn't get rewritten when they rewrote the data.
Me neither. It works in Plague Legion, to be fair, but why am I going to take her and unit Demonettes and Plague Legion over a unit of Plague Bearers? I'm just not. Basically, at the end of your movement phase, you can pick a battle shock unit within 12 of her, I think, and your unit can. All Sinesh units can re-roll wound rolls. It might be hit and wound rolls. Something is hit and wound. I mean, when is that ever going to come up? Apart from Plague Legion, and why? Like, you can take a unit of Demonettes and Plague Legion. I'm not against it. I did it for a while. I don't mind it. They fit very well with the Bowl Piper, but why? Like, she's 60 points on top of 100 points. I would rather put those 60 points into a Beast and Nurgle with an additional 5 points. Like, it's just. I don't want to say she's awful, because the rerolls enough is actually not bad, and you can take her in a Demonette unit in Legion of Excess, and they're actually not awful. So I think below her,
she's 2 more points.
60 points, right?
Yeah.
She's below Karen, I can see. I think. I don't think she's D. She's not D. She's better than those 5 guys. She's definitely not D.
Okay. I think just because she gives value in Legion of Excess. Let's go see. Above Karen.
Oh, better than Karen. Okay. Yeah, I think so. She gives her unit more than he does, to be fair. Next, Inferno and Rapturous. She's D. She's D, and she can go. She regens D3 Demonettes, which is fine. Except when are you ever going to have Demonettes alive to regen them? Very rarely. She does some stuff against psychic units. Who cares? And she has a las cannon or some 6 shots. Like, again, another amazing model, weighted potential. I think she's below almost everything but the Changecaster. I think she sits above the Changecaster.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah.
The Changecaster, like I said, is the worst thing in the game.
He's awful. He's absolutely awful. Contorted Epitome. They had their time in the sun for like 2 months, but they're 100 points. They give a 4 up for no pain. There's still a place for them in Excess if you want to, because they get the 4 no pain that is good for Thieves of Pain. And they do some. They basically have the Changeling's ability, but I think it only affects psychic units. Or is it it might actually not be psychic units. It might be.
No, it's normal. Everyone.
So they just have his ability as well, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. The Changeling's infinitely better. Does she sit bottom of C tier? Because I feel like she's got more utility than the guys in D tier.
I think we're putting too much in D tier, so just for the sake of that, put her in C tier.
Okay. But she sits below the Keeper.
Yeah, she definitely sits below the Keeper.
Yeah. Okay. No, I agree.
The thing is, she works in one detachment.
Yeah.
And in you said detachment, you are going to take Keepers.
Maybe. I think you could still take 2 Keepers in Excess because of the rerolls. And the amount of attacks. Torment Bringers actually are really good. Because they got their rework.
This is why I'm out of my depth now, because I don't have them.
Okay, so
how good they are. How good they are.
You know what they do, right? So gives their units. Yeah. So they give their units sustained and fights on and auto fights on death, which in Excess is amazing. And obviously, when they're attached to Hellflayers, the Hellflayer ability is they get +1 strength and damage on the charge. And they have a crap ton of attacks, including a bunch of anti-infantry attacks, same as the chariots, the Hellflayer. So, yeah, they're absolute blenders, but they are 140 points. if you attach them to 2 chariots, that's 300 points. It's a lot of points, but they are very good. And I think in excess, you want a lot of chariots. So, I don't feel comfortable putting them above the Poxbringer or the Scrivener because of the points. But I think they sit above the Epidemia, so I think they sit kind of mid-B tier.
Yeah.
Celeste, I'll be honest with you, I feel like you can take this one because I am so... Like, I know what Celeste does, but I am very anti-Celeste just because of the potential points giveaway that they can give. So I'm not... I know she gives the unit, or they give the unit, critical hits on 5s, but only if it would normally wound. So it's not actual good critical hits on 5s, which is ridiculous. And they get back up on a 2+, don't they? Again, I said you take this now, I'm talking. But they're very much in the same boat as Skulltaker, right? They're better on their own, in my opinion.
Yeah, better on his own. I think, just based off of the fact that it's 4-up in toughness 6 or something.
Yeah, I think so. 9 wounds, I think, or 10 wounds.
9 wounds, 4-up in resurrecting on a 2+. All of that stuff combines, they just becomes like a bit of a nice, cute nuisance unit.
Yeah,
but it's ultimately, I don't think it's worth the points.
It should be low up. It should definitely be a low character.
They don't do enough damage on their own.
No, but they can pick on skirmisher units, to be fair. But they're shooting in combat. But they should be a low up unit. 100%.
Yeah. So list wise, probably B.
Yeah. The answer is so they're not above the Skulltaker, Bloodmaster, Poxbringer, Scrivener, 100%. I don't think they go above the Tormentbringer either. So I think they sit. Are they better than Princes? Actually, that's where we want to look at because Epidemius is above the Princes. Are they above the Princes? Because I think that's where they sit. They either sit just above them or they sit just below them, or it could sit in between.
They're better than Princes because they're not far off in terms of how tough they are
and damage
compared to the Princes.
They actually are technically more damaging, but they've got more. They've not got the save, the armor save, but they've got the resurrect. So okay, yeah, I think so. I think below Epidemius, above the Princes. I think that's a good spot for them.
Also, in terms of points cost, they're like 80 points cheaper than Team of Princes. So
they're 120.
Yeah,
and a Foot Prince is 190, and a Wing Prince is 180, I believe.
Okay, so minimum 60 points cheaper.
Yeah, which is a lot. To be fair, it's
2 times the price of a Wing Prince.
Yeah,
so
I mean, you could take Celeste and a Beast and Urgle for 5 points less than a Foot Prince or 5 points more than a Wing Prince. Like, put that into perspective. What would you rather have?
The Beast and Urgle is almost as tough as the Prince is on its own.
Yeah, I know. They're better than, well, they ain't got the 2-up save, but again, the regen. The mask. I like the mask, to be fair. I have a real soft spot for the mask. I just wish she wasn't 95 points. But Lone Up actually can kill things, can give a +1 on a wound against 1 unit, full Sinesh units in the fight phase. And oh Christ. She does a battle shock thing, doesn't she? I think.
I have no idea.
My mind's gone blank. I used to use her all the time, and now I haven't used her in about a year. I haven't used her. Does she do a battle shock thing? Or am I being really thick? That's not right, is it?
It's because Legion of Excess, we don't play it anymore. Let me have a look. The Mask. Mask. Hello, Mask. No, nothing battle shock related. She can advance and fall back and still charge. And...
Oh, no. Do you know what it is? I know what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of one moment in the game when... what's the name of the stratagem? It's now -1 to hit, but it used to be when she gets targeted, or when a Sinesh unit was targeted, you force a battle shock test, and if they fail, they can't
Overwhelming excess.
Overwhelming excess. That's what happened, and she clutched. She made the unit fail the battle shock, and they couldn't kill her, and they lost the objective, and they lost Assassinate off of it. That's what it was. So, I mean, I like her. The 95 points is pricey. So I think she has to go into the B tier spot alongside some of the other heralds. I think she's better than the Torment Bringer, she's probably the same level as the Torment Bringer, but she's better than Epidemius. I actually think she's better than most of the little characters. I actually think she probably sits top of B tier above the Bloodmaster. I think. Does she? Is she better than Skulltaker? The Lone Op, that's a good thing. She's a bit more buffing to more things. I think she is better than Skulltaker.
Yeah, just for the fact that she's Lone Op, let's go with that.
But below Bloodmaster? I think she's
yes.
no. I think she's better than the Bloodmaster. I'll put her top of B. I'll take the flak for that if people disagree. I think she's top of B because she's actually got utility to her. Just wish she wasn't 95 points. You're just like, it really doesn't matter. Right, we're on the troops now. So this one can be quite quickly. Bloodletters. B tier.
C.
C tier. Shadow Legion. Not enough to push them into B tier, you don't think?
No, they need too much help.
Yeah, you're right. It is very much they need Rem Masters, they need characters. The biggest problem with them is they need one of two things. And it's the thing, we've said this many times. They either need +1 attack or +1 to hit. They should either have 3 attacks or they hit on 2s. The fact that they hit on 3s with 2 attacks for the combat unit just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it's a disgrace.
Yeah, so they should have one of those two things, or both of those two things.
It's really weird, right? Because they could be like Howling Banshees after Eldari. They have 2 attacks, same as Howling Banshees. They could hit on 2s and they could have anti-infantry.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I actually think they should have Dev Wounds base. I don't think they should get that off Scarbrand. It's a Hellblade. It's meant to be one of the most deadliest swords type of weapons in the universe. Like they are.
Yeah, it's a lightsaber.
Yeah, so yeah, basically. Yeah, so whatever. Bloodletters, again, they're a unit that incredibly frustrate me. I think they sit top of C. I think that's a good spot for them.
Yeah, sure.
Pink Horrors, they're B tier. They're definitely B tier. Where in B tier? They're great in Shadow Legion because of the -1 to hit. They're okay in Incursion, but only because of the 6-inch Deep Strike to just be annoying. And they have a spot in Scintillating, right?
I think Scintillating desperately needs an anchor unit, and they're one of the options for that.
Agreed.
So, yeah, B tier. I think they're better than a lot of the characters that are in B tier.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to say top of B tier, to be fair.
Okay.
I think. Tell me if you disagree, but I think so.
No, good.
Because OC
the next one we didn't talk about
this
as much as we want to talk on about them all the time, they are S tier.
Hold on, we're not there yet. We're on Blue Horrors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, I will fight that battle even more than you will. You know that. But Blue Horrors first, because they are a unit and they infiltrate, which is great. Why are these guys 125 points? I don't get it. I looked at this datasheet when we got revealed the datasheets right at the beginning of temp, so 3 years ago nearly, before we had point cards. I looked at those and I was like, cool, I'm taking 60 of them. Infiltrate, split, 4-up in Van, like, what the hell? -1 leadership is okay, and again, for me, it's relevant as a Plague Legion player, but 125 points, I can't take them. Like, I've taken them a little bit in Shadow Legion because of the Puppeteer, but there's better options. Not Shadow Legion, sorry, Scintillating Legion. Like, some people take them in Plague Legion, but they're too many points.
They need to be like 80 points.
That might be too cheap. 90 to 95, maybe. I think they're fine.
Put it this way, Tau Pathfinders are 90 points.
Yeah, but
they have OC and they do a load of damage.
Okay, that's fair. But Blues have 4-up in 1 and split. So That's
They don't do anything.
Then they're annoying to kill. That's why they cost what they do. They are a unit.
Yeah.
They sit in the same category as a lot of the heralds, or all of the heralds really. Their insignificance at GW forget that they don't change it. They don't need to. Just doesn't make sense. I don't understand why they've stayed at 125. I really don't get it. Apart from the fact that they just don't care about them.
Like absolute most, they should be 100.
Agreed. 100 at the very most. I think 90-ish is where they should sit. Because of that, they're in C tier. I think. Are they better than the Blue Scribes? No, for their points. They're better.
And sorry, Lawrence, advance, because I know how much you like them.
What's that?
I'll say sorry to Lawrence in advance because I know how much he likes them in Plague Legion.
Do you know what? Right, the -1 leadership is nice because it combines with the Poxbringer's -1 battle shock and then the natural -1 battle shock, and you just put it in front of because you can't make worse than 9, but there's not many things that are leadership 9 anyway in the game. So actually, they stack really nicely. The problem is, I just don't understand. I don't get where you're pulling 125 points from. Like, why are you taking that over 10 Plague Bearers? I don't understand why would you do that. And the argument is, but the -1 battle shock. I don't care. Like Plague Bearers, as we're about to get to, why?
What?
I don't get it. I don't understand the -1 leadership when you've already got -1 battle shock anyway, and you can get -1 for a 55 point character if you really want to, and you can take 3 of those guys if you really want to. Why are you paying 125 points for a battle line unit that you just for the -1 leadership? The Plague Bearers are just infinitely better. I just don't understand it. It's the what you're getting. It just feels like you're overdoing the gimmick, in my opinion. It's the same as people take triple skull cannons in Plague Legion. It's overdoing the gimmick. Like, I think the battle shock is amazing. I think it generally is such an underrated detachment rule and an underrated mechanic, but there is a limit. And when you start pushing past it and you take it to the nth degree, you're starting to lose efficiency because you're taking too heavy into it. And I think they go into that territory, in my opinion. So I get it. If they were 90 points, I think I would make space for them. 100%. At 125 points, I can't do it. Not when they're more expensive. Pardon?
Agree with C tier though.
Yeah, I think they're not awful. They just, you're right, they don't do anything, but they could work in Plague Legion. They're just too many points. They could work in some lists. I don't, in a Shadow Legion list, them and Nurglings and Seekers as a turn 1 or a deployment. I'm taking the midfield. Turn 1, I'm running at you and I'm blocking you in, and I'm going to just be really annoying. That's a playstyle I would play that list, but not for 125 points. Can't do it. C tier, where in C tier? Above the Fluxmaster? Above? I don't think they're above the. I think 75 points for a loan up is better than 125 points for an infiltrating split unit.
We have another battle line unit that you can take 6 of that's 55 points cheaper than that. So that infiltrates and blocks things really well. Mm-hmm. So I would say below the Blue Scribes.
Yeah, cool. I agree. Right. Now we can get to this part, and you don't have to tell me it's going in S tier. They are genuinely.
I don't even need to be spoken about much.
They don't. Everyone knows. Everyone knows what Plague Bearers do. Everyone knows who Plague Bearers are. I have said this for absolute. You are talking to the guy that ran 150 of them at one stage many editions ago. You don't need to. No one has to sell Plague Bearers to me. I am very much a Plague Bearer connoisseur. This whole edition, I've also been a Plague Bearer connoisseur. I play Plague Legion as my main. I minimum 30 to 40 of them. I ran 50 of the things not that long ago, right? And I would happily do it again. You can run them. You can run a crap ton of them in Shadow Legion. You're running 20 of them in Incursion?
Yep.
which doesn't seem like a lot until you realise that you've got 5 monsters that take up like 3/4 of your list, and now you're making space to fit 2 of those units in before chaff unit. Now you actually think, okay, that's how good they are because you're making space for 2 of them. I mean, I was running 2 to 3 of them in my incursion lists. I think I took 2 to Worlds to show you, and that was, you know how seriously I took that going to the World Championships. I took 2 units and I would have taken a third if I could afford them, if I had the points for them. And it says it all. Every single detachment takes a unit of Plague Bearers. Legion of Excess was, Scintillating does, obviously Plague Legion, Shadow Legion, Incursion, and if people play Blood Legion, you take them a Blood Legion. I generally think one of the first things you put into a list, if it's not Be'lakor, it's 10 Plague Bearers, right?
I think they are, and I've said this in almost every tier list we've done, I think they're the best battle line in the game.
I agree. I have
wouldn't take that profile if you gave it to them.
Exactly.
It's the first thing that goes into every army's army list.
Exactly. I've said this on other channels and streams and stuff. Like, they are generally one of the best battle line in the game. Like T5, 2 wounds, 5 up in one, sticky objective, model regen, and then you factor in Guro buffs for +1 toughness, Rotagus buff for extra damage. Then we can factor in stratagems. Merc Shadows for +5 move. Plague Bearers moving 10 inches or 11 inches with a ball piper is hilarious. Critical 5s if you want it. You can get that for the Poxbringer. +1 OC for Scrivener. 16 Steep Strike. +1 AP. They're just so good. They're just and they're 110 points. I think they are genuinely the best value for points. Period in our list, in our index, bar none.
100%.
They're not. I don't. We can't put them above Be'lakor. We can't do that. I don't agree with that. But I think we could put them above Rotagus.
Yeah, because you can have multiples of them.
Yeah, agreed. If you could take 2 or 3 Rotaguses, you would. I would. Definitely would. But you can't, sadly. I think they sit between both big guys. But again, we didn't need to talk about them, but I wanted to talk about them because my love for those guys stretches beyond 10th edition. I love Plague Bearers, period. Speaking of love, I think we all love this unit regardless of how good or bad they may be, and that's Nurglings. Who doesn't love Nurglings? Because for 40 points, they're harder to kill than they should be, right? We all know that. They're famous for that. They are OC0,
Why did they go up to 5 up in 1? I was so annoyed when that happened.
I'm not. They should have always been 5 up in 1.
Yeah, you as a Nurgling sympathizer and a Plague Legion, well happy. Of course you are. Shocker. But yeah, as someone who plays against them more often than I play with them,
they're horrible for you because the Nurglings, especially now, because their ability got side graded, right? So it's not an aura anymore, but it affects everything but Titanic. So against you, 3 Nurglings is the difference between your Greater Demon punting something and not punting something, because that -1 to hit, even though you're hitting on 2s, now you're hitting on 3s, actually makes a difference. You hate them because for 40 points they survive way more than they should.
Against armies like Chaos Knights, who take 2 squads of them, I have to commit a lot of change to killing them.
Yep.
And then that lot of change is in the open and get shot at.
Mm-hmm. And for me, they're a cheap source of early shadow aura because I can put them in the middle. First of all, they're an infiltrate unit. We know how good infiltrate units are. You can counter other infiltrates. You can counter scouts. It just gives you a bit more control of the early game. I put them in a wall. I put them in a bit of terrain or behind a bit of terrain, and I say to my opponent, "Come forward. If you go first, you come forward. I can actually shadow you now in my turn 1." In Shadow Legion, 6 of them, multiple units of 6 of them, deploying 9 inches away from the opponent going first. In combat, -1 to hit, because they make your opponent -1 to hit. And in Shadow Legion, they're -1 to win against strength that is higher than toughness. Newsflash, almost everything it's got higher strength than their toughness because they're only T3 base. Six of them in Shadow Legion for 70 points takes far too commitment to kill, and it's brilliant. I love it. But yeah, no, I think for me, I take a couple units, 1 to 2 units, because I don't think I mean I could take walls of them, but why? I just take a couple units because it gives me infiltrate, which I want counter to infiltrate. But then it also gives me a cheap source of early game shadows because I can quickly punt out a 9-inch aura turn 1. And then that gives me a chance to get other things forward and then start punting out the rest of my shadow auras for the rest of the game. So it just gets me a little bit more value out of my detachment rule. So if I'm going first, okay, I'm not going to get the battle shock in my turn, but I will get to push the Nurglings forward and do it. If I go second, my opponent are probably going to end up within 9 of them most of the time if I place them right. So just for 40 points, it gives me more value out of my detachment rule. I don't think that's bad at all.
No.
And also, they're a move block unit. Throwing them into a vehicle like a Rhino is really handy as well for 40 points.
It's way more frustrating for the enemy than it is for you.
Yeah. I know. I am fine having a unit of Nurglings sitting in combat with a Rhino all game. I'm absolutely fine with that. As long as the Rhino's not on a point, I don't care. And also, it means the guys inside can't just go straight through the Nurglings. They have to get out at an angle, which then will reduce their movement. And again, for 40 points, they are one of the best disruption units in the game. And this is when they can't do actions. Do you remember when they used to be able to do actions earlier in the edition? They were stupid. Yeah. They were ridiculous.
Yeah, you wouldn't know without them when they could do actions.
Yeah, I took the 6 units.
I think they go in B tier.
Yeah, 100%. They're not A tier. They're B tier. Where is the question? I think because they're so cheap, I find it really hard not to... they're not better than Pink Horrors, but I think they go just behind Pink Horrors because they're so cheap.
Yeah, sure.
Because they're a disruption. Again, I'm looking at it from the point of view of a Nurgle player, I guess.
But if you look at it from the point of view of how much they get taken in other armies as well, I think they're better than Pink.
Yeah, Chaos Space Marines take them, Chaos Knights take them. Almost every demon list will try and fit a unit in if they can. Yeah, I think it's very hard. Yeah, but for 40 points, they're just a valuable, it's 40 points. That's nothing in the grand scheme of things, is it? And they take more than 40 points to kill them. So that's to expose a unit to kill them, to then you can kill that back. I think that's a good trade.
I think A. Not A, sorry. I think B, just above Pink Horrors.
Above Pink Horrors?
Yeah.
So top of B?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't disagree. I think people might have a problem because of the OC0. I think they are very much a smart player. No, I shouldn't say that because that sounds like I'm insulting people. I'm not. But I feel like for players that don't play at the highest level or a higher level, or they're newer players, they don't see the value in them. Whereas players like us who do play at quite a high level is where we see the value in them.
I think they're just like an auto pick for so many people.
Yeah.
The only reason I would run a squad if I had the points. Yeah, unfortunately, definitely. I never have points. The only reason I don't feel the need to cram them into my list and change other stuff is because if I run up against something that's trying to turn one tap me, I just set up further back. But that's because something like the Demonic Incursion has the ability to do that with access to uppy down.
Yeah, first of all, with the way your list is built, you can fight through things that run at you turn 1, and shoot at it. Secondly, you can afford to, as you said, to deploy backwards because you can just jump up and down. Obviously, I don't have uppy downy, so I need to have a counter to infiltrate, like an alpha strike. But again, for me, it's 40 points of I get my detachment rule a turn earlier. Also, I don't mind leaving 40 points on the screen out. If I stick in my backfield, when I stick in my backfield and leave it, if I leave a unit of Nurglings on the backfield for 40 points, again, who cares? Like that's a good use of 40 points because they're protecting your entire backfield. So
yeah.
Demonettes. I actually so I feel like for so long I was really tough on these guys. I think when I started using them in Incursion, I was like, oh, not Incursion, in Excess, I was like, oh, okay. Actually, do you know what? These girls are not bad. And then I started running a unit, and they became a staple in my Plague Legion list. And I actually really liked them. And they've come out of it now just because, like, similar to you, I can't fit them in, and there's other things I would rather take. But I like Demonettes. They are, I think, very dependent on where you put them. They can fit in a Plague Legion list because of their Battle Shock ability. I think they're your bread and butter in your excess list naturally, like they should be. Don't think you actually, they're not bad in Shadow Legion because one thing that's annoying is they're quite easy to be Overwatch because they're not that tough. But they just ignore Overwatch in Shadow Legion and they can be a really annoying move blocking unit that is uninteractive. Your opponent can't stop it. So I think they're better than Bloodletters, so I think they are in B tier.
Yeah, they're better than Bloodletters for me. Cheaper, giving a battle shock test, slightly faster,
Dev
fights
wounds,
first, dev wounds.
They can punch up sometimes. They got more attacks. I think you said that, but yeah, no, I like them. Where in beta is the question. I don't think they're anywhere near Pink Horrors. I don't know though. I think they are. They're not better than Pink Horrors. Are they better than the characters is the question.
And their points cost, yeah, because they're a squad.
Yeah, and they're OC2.
As they're OC2, they're only 100 points. They hit harder than any single character does. And with the Battle Shock tech, they kind of offer similar stuff to what some of the characters do.
Yeah.
So,
true.
yeah, I think they're better than the characters.
Yeah. Okay, I'll put them just below Pink Horrors. I like them. I like them. They're a unit I would like to put back into my list again eventually when I get the chance to. They pair very well with the Canker Blight. But yeah, they're good. Blood Crushers, we briefly touched on them earlier. Their Dev Wound ability is great. Their combat is not very good because they suffer with the same problem the Bloodletters, because they are just a Bloodletter, really. But they've got a Rhino, but they hit on 4s, which is annoying. Their Mortal Wounds is where they're at. Their T7, when they had a 4-up in one, yes, but now they're on a 3-up arm and a 5-up in one. There's enough AP in the game to ignore that. They're restricted by movement. I don't know. Are they B or are they C?
I think C. I think they need to be cheaper. For having a 5-up in one than a 4-up, they need to be cheaper.
I agree. I think they suffer. I think they're similar to Plague Drones in that respect of 110 points for what they are. When Fiends are 95, like 110 points for 3 is a bit too much. I think six of them should not cost more than 200 points, personally. Are they better than Bloodletters?
Just because they're a bit more independent.
They're tougher, so they can take a bit of a punch, and the Mortals, they can punch up a little bit better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, so they're top of C. I think that's an okay spot for them, because I know there was a not long ago where we would have placed them in A tier, to be fair, and I think some people still would like to do that. But I think top of C tier, skirting that line to B tier is really where they could sit. I don't disagree with that.
The change to 5-up in such a big.
Yeah, it was huge. It was a really big blow to them. I hated. It was like they saw lists with Blood Crushers and Fiends in it, which was a thing, and they decided to nip that in the bud, and they nerfed them both at the same time. Was it it was the same patch, wasn't it? Was it the same time they got nerfed? Yeah, and then obviously the Bloodletter change as well. And I think that might have been when the Guos got height.
Similarly close together.
Yeah. and Shadow Legion. It was about a year ago. It's March last year. It was when Shadow Legion came out. I think that we had a really big kind of change, buff and nerfs. Fleshhounds. I think they're A tier Fleshhounds, personally. They skirt the line. They skirt the line of A and B. But the uppy down
doesn't.
Huh?
I think they're A tier for any detachment that doesn't already have access to uppy down.
That was what I was going to say. I'm looking at it from my point of view. I don't have uppy downy, so I take at least 1 or 2 units from these guys because they give me it. They move 12. Their combat is okay. For you can get uppy downy, though you can also get that free, which is not bad in addition to what you've got. Obviously Shadow Legion, but they've only got in Shadow Legion, you're going to pick up 1 Daemon unit, so having free uppy downy is not bad. And also you'd rather save the CP.
I'll be honest, in my incursion list, it is purely a points cost thing.
Yeah.
If the Lords of Change didn't go up as much as they did, if they went up only slightly, then I would be dropping Screamers for Fleshhounds.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not there to do damage. They can skirmish and they can be an annoying move blocking unit, but they're a free uppy downy unit, and we know how important uppy downy is to keep your opponent on their feet. And for me, because otherwise I haven't got anything where my opponent has to scream back, so they can just push forward, and I don't want them to push forward too heavy unless it's what I need them to do. So by having that unit of dogs that can go up and down, or 2 units of dogs that can go up and down, it forces my opponent to just hang back a little bit, which is fine, because I want to pick people off unit by unit or chunk by chunk. If my opponent is throwing 6 units at me, I have to throw, a lot back at them, and it just, if I can get it right, fine, but if I don't get it right, I'm in trouble. And having that dog unit or couple dog units lets me have a little bit of reprieve, because most people don't want the dogs dropping in the back, doing actions and being free to move about afterwards. So, yeah, I think they can sit below at the bottom of the A tier. I think they're a good unit for 75 points. Yeah, I mean, before they got that, they definitely weren't near there. But I just wish, you're right, they should be T5. I think you said that earlier. They should be tough 5. I think they should be T5. And I wish they had their old ability from 9th where they got +1 damage on the charge.
Yeah, they desperately need 2 damage.
Or the Gorehound is damaged too. But I just wish there was a bit more damagey from them, or they had lethal hits or something like that. They need something a little bit more in terms of damage, because their damage is very anemic for what they should be. They should be better than what they are.
Do you not feel like they could do impact mortal wounds like jump pack intercessors do?
Like
they're charging head first. They bite things.
I get what you're saying. I think they would. I think Lance would be more appropriate, because you're right. What they're doing is they're dogs, so they're going to jump at you and they're going to launch into you with teeth. You could do impacts, to be fair, but then they're too similar. That blood crushers do that. They're not going to have 2 units to do impacts. But yeah, I agree. They should have something. They're launching at you, right? So
yeah,
maybe they should get extra attacks on a charge or something. +1 strength attack on the charge.
Because what is it at the moment? They don't get any bonus, do they, on the charge?
No, they're just 3 attacks of strength 5 -2/1 damage.
Okay, so just send them back to damage 2 on the charge.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think that would be fine.
And also AP2, not AP1.
Yeah,
AP1's pathetic.
They're AP1. Yeah, they're AP1.
They're AP1. Yeah, they need to be AP.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if I said AP2. I might have said AP2, but they're AP1. They very rarely get in combat for me, to be fair, if I'm honest. But yeah, so but they're RP down is enough to push them into bottom of A2, I think. Skull Cannon. I feel like I should like this as a Plague Legion player much more than I do. And there was a time where I didn't mind it. My thing with it is, again, it's a similar thing as what I said about the Blue Horrors. You're going a little bit to the nth degree. if their battle shocks, if they could do it on Overwatch, if you could Overwatch something and then do the battle shock, I actually wouldn't mind that. But because it's in your turn, you can do enough battle shocks through your other stuff where you don't need to be spending 95 points on a unit that is going to benefit from nothing else. So I just don't think they do. And if they could battle shock in your opponent's turn, then yeah, definitely, because that's much more impactful. Otherwise, are you taking them in any other detachment? I don't think you are, to be honest.
Sorry, I've just blanked. Which unit is this again?
Skull Cannon.
Yeah. The shooting just isn't good enough. No, I think Plague Legion or bust really for them. That
even then,
if someone is running Blood Legion because they don't want to play Shadow Legion really badly and they've lost their minds, then maybe they want to take
but they don't do
Skull
enough.
Cannon.
Why?
They're corn really bad.
But why? They don't know, because I don't even think the shooting gives you sticky. I think pretty sure the sticky has to be in combat. No, maybe it doesn't. Maybe I'm lying. Maybe they do get the sticky, but there has to be a unit. Obviously, there has to be a corn unit on the objective. Maybe, I don't know. I can't remember how their sticky ability works. But either way, that would maybe be the only reason. But even then, the combat's not bad. The shooting is meh. I feel like the only detachment you will take them in is Plague Legion, and I just feel like there's so much better 95 points worth of spending there. You can get battle shocks in a better place from better things easier. You don't need 95.
Okay, so it basically Blood Tainted basically only works in combat because
thought so. So
it doesn't specify that it works in combat only. It says at the end of the phase when a corn unit killed an enemy unit within range of objective marker, but it still says that your unit has to have higher level of control on that objective marker. If you're doing it if you're killing something like right in front of you with a skull cannon, you're not doing what a skull cannon's there for.
No, exactly. There's just something not quite right with them. They should have what the Exalted Flamer has. Like, they reduce movement, like they pin. They're a pinning unit. That's what they used to have back in 6th edition. They used to pin.
They need to do both. They need to pin and
I agree. Or if they destroy a unit where they're shooting, they splash battle shocks out, or something like that. I don't know. Either way, I think they're C tier. They're not D tier, but they're C tier. They're probably a little bit above keepers, but not quite Karanak, I think.
Not above keepers.
You think
what was them above keepers?
Keeper. Yeah, no. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Right. Yeah, no, you're right. Keepers can actually do shit. Okay, it's above the epitome though.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right, Flamers.
Cheap as chips. Bunch of toughness for 4 up in 1, 3 wounds.
They're an action unit that needs dedication to remove. Otherwise, they will just score points. That is their entire job. They've got an Overwatch threat against armies like GSC and Eldar. That's it. Their damage is non-existent nearly, which is weird because 3 years ago, this was considered one of the best units in the entire game. Do you remember that when flavors were busted?
I'll tell you the one niche thing that they do right now is in Scintillating Legion. If you take a squad of 6 of them,
you can buff them
Blood
with
Angels
right?
will hate you.
Blood Angels?
Yeah, specifically Blood Angels because Lamatis and his Death Company. So you put them in from reserves, you torch them, and then when they move, you torch them again.
Yeah. So
but one of them is going to be fired in this. So one without pyrogenesis. So you can have 66
Yeah.
like 7-1, and then you can have 66 at 4-1-1. It's costing you 2 CP to do that. You kill a massive chunk of this squad.
I feel like you could do that against a lot of armies, though. That is a legitimate strategy of drop down, shoot, and then dare them to move, right?
Yeah, pretty.
But you're right.
You can kill.
That only works in
screens
scintillating.
Like these business with the 6, and I think the real power with flamers is in a squad of 6, not in squads of 3. As a squad of 3, they are just an action monkey.
Yeah,
as a squad of 6, you have credible
yeah.
enough damage for the points cost that they are, and they're tough. Like, they're awkward enough to kill as a squad of 6. I think in Shadow Legion, squads of 6 of them work quite well as well.
Well, I think in Shadow Legion, if you're going down the loads of unit route, which it is a strategy with Shadow Legion, 3 units of 3 units of Flamers are of 3 units are a legitimate thing. You can take 6 mans as an Overwatch threat, as a drop down shoot, and then Overwatch. It is a thing. Yeah, fair dues. I don't hate Flamers. I don't hate them, but I don't love them. They're kind of middle of the road for me. They're very much a B tier unit, I think. But they are very action monkey. If anything, they are the action. Nah, they're the second. I think Beasts are more action monkey. But Beasts can actually do damage. But yes, I agree. You know, there is a place for some, like you said, in scintillating, maybe Shadow Legion, where they do the whole. I think in scintillating with the +1 strength of the keeper of the Lord of Change, and then there's Pyro for strength 8, means you drop down at strength 8 into Marines, you're winning on 2s, and then you're going to torch a good chunk of the unit, and then you go cool move, and then I'll kill another 1 or 2 guys. Like, yeah, okay. I think B tier is fine for them. I'm thinking they're sitting around Demonettes. It's just, are they ahead or behind is the question.
I think they're probably just ahead of Demonettes.
Okay. Yeah. They're not pink horrors. Definitely not pink horrors. But they're a good action unit. For the same points, I just would rather take a Beast and Urgle. But that's just me. Screamers. A tier, no?
Yeah, I was contemplating S, to be honest.
No, God no. They're not S tier.
I think A tier probably just below the
they're high.
The lowest is the Bloodthirster, isn't it?
No, the lowest is Fleshhound. So it's Guo, Lord of Change, Scarbrand, Kairos, Thirster, Changeling, Barpiper, Renmaster, Flamers. Not Flamers, Fleshhound, sorry.
I think they go just above the Bloodthirster.
In between Thirster and Kairos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. They move 14, so they're mega fast. They fly, so they can't really be blocked out. 3-man units, similar to, they've got the exact same defensive profile as Flamers, so they take actual, 3 wins with a 4-up in They take dedication to get rid of. 3-mans are great in Incursion. They're not bad in Plague Legion. They're good in Scintillating Legion and Shadow Legion. And they're a unit that you could take in the other detachments, to be fair, just to give you a really speedy combat unit. And a utility unit.
Almost any army in the game would bite your hand on a unit like that.
They're demon jet bikes, aren't they? Let's be real. They got the anti-monster vehicle, which is funny, because even though they're anti-monster vehicle, I don't think that's their function. But they will kill Marines, especially in Shadow Legion. Like 6-man screamer units are great into those Marine chunks, the units that are like, the bigger units that are like, your Blade Guard and all them kind of units. Because I know they're 3 wounds, but you'll do damage. You've got 3 attacks each, so you've got 18 attacks. You're going to hit with 12 on average, roughly. If you've got Bellicor nearby, you get the reroll ones. But then you lance for the +1 the wounds, so you're getting a bunch of those wounds through. They love going into Marines, especially. I mean, you like them because you can give them you can make them AP3 in combat, quite easy.
Yeah.
So, which is really good.
I've done it a few times and actually fell foul of killing something just because whiffed on the hit rolls. But that can always happen against stuff.
Of course, can. Hitting off 3s with 9 attacks. You should hit with 6, but hitting with 4 is not uncommon. But you can also hit with like 8 of them, and when you do that, you're laughing. And I mean, I also like it because I've used it where I've had the Screamers and I've made a unit of Marines T3 for a Guo and then wounded them on 2s as well, which is really nice. So, they're fantastic. They're a great unit. When they got that buff to hit on 3s, it was amazing. And they're tough-ish. 3 wins and a 4-1 is nice. They can tank, especially with -1 to hit off Scintillating Legion. Shadow Legion. They're annoying to deal with. I just wish I could take a Flux Master in other detachments. Burning Chariot. I think it's C tier. Burning Chariot.
There's only really one detachment, I think, where it has a place, and that's Scintillating.
I disagree. I think they're best in Shadow Legion. The -1 is nice. And Lance on those guys is not awful because they've got some okay combat. They've got 2 Screamers, a 6 strength 6 -2 2 damage attacks, and then they've got a bunch of. I'm pretty sure the Exalted Flame is 6 damage in combat. So no AP1 damage, but you can actually do some work into a small skirmish unit. And you've got your shooting. You've got your 2d6 Flamer, which you can use to Overwatch if you need to, or you've got your 3-shot mini las cannon, basically, or strength 9 -3 damage. Also, you can have them ignore cover for something. I don't know how useful that is, except on and that's where they come into Scintillating, because ignoring cover for your Lord of Change is actually really good, and Kairos as well. But I think they can work in Shadow Legion if you build around it, but they're not a common choice because there are better units.
There are just more. You were saying about the Lance straight away. There's just so many other things that it's better to put the Lance on. And then
agreed.
All of the kind of like skirmishy stuff that they can do. There are Chaos Space Marine units in Shadow Legion that can do that better. We have Demon units that can do the skirmishy stuff better. So I just don't think they're top of mind in Shadow Legion.
No, they're not. Yeah, they're not a top unit, but I think they've got play in Shadow Legion.
They're definitely play. They're just not going to be like one of the first things that you think about putting.
No, I agree.
Whereas in Scintillating, I think when you look at the spare points you've got left after putting 2 birds, maybe Bellicor, Kairos. After putting that stuff in, put your Plague Bearers in, put some Puppeteer units in, they are one of the next things you can look at.
Yeah.
So I just think they've got a bit more value there.
But they do work with the Puppeteer because obviously they're in the unit to shoot through, but the Puppeteer shooting and then their own shooting is a nice combo. But having the shooting and the combat, they're not like the best of either, but they've got the combination where they can actually, if that goes right, they can do a nice bit of damage on those smaller units. So I just think they're too expensive for 115. But 9 wins with a 4-up invuln, and when they've got -1 to hit in Scintillating, is also quite obnoxious to deal with sometimes. So I don't think it's awful. I just think it's C tier.
Yeah, that's about right.
Is it better than
the points quite justified if you take into account they've got 2 Screamers attached?
Yeah, and that's good.
Which would be what, 55 points ish?
Screamers are 80 points for 3. So
probably 50 points.
Yeah, about 50, right? About 50 points. So then they're actually 65, and then and actually that would work out because an Exalted Flamer is 65 points. So yeah, that makes total sense. Where do they sit in C? you reckon?
Oh, I don't know.
Are they better than a keeper? I feel like that's the measuring stick.
Yeah, but the keeper's like basically bottom.
Well, it's not. The epitome and the skull cannon are below it.
Okay, it's better than the chariots are definitely better than that.
Oh, I agree.
Just above the keeper, I'd say.
Cool. So next unit is S tier.
What is it?
What do you think it is? Have a guess. I've mentioned it loads of times. Huh?
Beast.
Yeah, of course. Tell me it's not S tier. Tell me it's not S tier.
I would go A tier.
No! Tell me it's 65 points. Tell me what is a better trade for valuable points. No, it does not take 65 points to kill that thing. It takes triple that. Minimum to kill that thing. It's
higher value for you than it is for incursion, for sure.
Yes, it is, but I still think it's really good for you guys as well. It's scout.
Oh yeah.
It's T9, it's 7 wounds. It's got okay combat. It's better combat for me, but it's still good combat. It is a great action unit. Okay, right, fine. Do you know what? I'll acquiesce and I'll bring it down to A, but I want to put it high in A. I want to put it really high in A because I think they're phenomenal. Again, I build my list. First thing I do is minimum 2 units of Playbearers, Canker Blight, Rotagus, and Beast. Or 2 Beasts. First thing that's in my list before I start figuring out the rest of it.
I think it can go just above Kairos.
Cool. Below Scarbrand. Okay, I'll take that. But I love them. You can't say they're not good. They're amazing.
No, they're really good.
They're really good. Scout 6 on them. And OC3. Do you know how annoying that OC3 is to deal with? You know, most transports and mid-range vehicles are OC2 or 3. So the beast rocking up and going, sweet. That's not your objective.
I don't need more clarity on how annoying those fuckers are. I played in a teams tournament, and this was in Kent. When we did our first in-depth teams tournament.
Was that Void? Was that Voidstorm?
Voidstorm, yeah. So we played against Martin Lakeland. He was running Scintillating. I was running my incursion list. We played out to, I think it was a 10-10 by the end of it.
Wow.
My Lord of Change spent 3 turns trying to kill a Beast of Nurgle.
Oh, what, in combat? Or shooting? Both?
No, so I shot it for 1 turn.
Was this damage 3 damage 2 or D3 damage?
3 damage.
Wow.
So I fought it for like 4 rounds of combat and just about fell short every single time. I was consistently doing 4 hits. First time I fought it, 4 hits, 3 wounds, he passed to save. Second time I fought it, 4 hits, 3 wounds, he passed to save. Third time I fought it, 4 hits, 1 wound, we don't bother. And then eventually I just went, I'm going to shoot it. And then I finally killed it.
It's the amount of points it takes. They have got to be the best value for point in terms of what it takes to kill it in trade value in the game. Or if not, they're top 3.
End up having a massive impact because it's a bird, it's got more OC than a Beast of Nurgle. In terms of my points, it wasn't doing much. But I got to the point where the Lord of Change couldn't shoot anything else, so the Lord of Change just pointed down him and went, sorry, B, you're going to die now.
Yeah, it's affecting the effectiveness of your unit. Also, when you're able to battle shock units nearby, it's quite handy, if I'm honest, OC3. they are on auto take in every Plague Legion list and almost every other list. Again, we talk about Chaos Knight players and Nurglings. They take a unit of Nurglings, and the next thing is a Beast of Nurgle. I've seen a lot of that. There's a reason for that.
So many Chaos Knights players. So Cho and Ratnu, both good mates of mine, will harp on about Beast and Nurgle being the best unit in the game all the time. I do think it's a bit exaggerated.
Plague Bearers are better, but Beasts are great. Beasts are amazing.
Plague Bearers are better if you can fit them in as allies. Then yeah, they are better.
I mean,
but if you
can take Plague Bearers like they're a battle line, so they can't just take a unit of Plague Bearers if they really want to. But there's 110 points for them guys compared to 105 points for Nurglings and a Beast. And the Nurglings give them an infiltrate, the Beast give them a scout. But they're amazing. Plague drones. You know what? Plague drones are such a less experienced player trap because so many people see the reroll wounds and like, they're amazing, I must take them. And the reroll wounds is not awful, but they're not good. They're just not that good. They're tough-ish. They're not as tough as a Beast, which is funny. They're one of your faster Nurgle units. They fly with 10-inch move, but they're mounted. Their combat, they are just a Plague Bearer with a less good Beast, basically. You're taking them for the reroll wounds after they shoot something, but there's just 110 points. Do you want three Plague Drones or 10 Plague Bearers?
Do you know what? Just for that comparison, I really want to put them in D tier, but I know they don't deserve that. So I think they're C. It's just about where in C.
Look, right, you're not really going to take them outside of Plague Legion. So let me answer this one on how often do I look at putting them in my list, and it's never. 0. So they're better than the epitome. They're better than the Skull Cannon because they actually provide something, but they're not a keeper, so they can go there towards the bottom of C tier. But that's the thing, and I know you shouldn't compare because then you start to see the worst of something, but they're the same points as 10 Plague Bearers, and Plague Bearers are in S tier. They don't do what Plague Bearers do. So you don't need the reroll wounds. You just don't need it. Like, it's nice, but...
They're the same. Each one of them is the same OC as a Plague Bearer.
Yeah, they're not even OC3, which is ridiculous. Yeah, I really wish they did something as well or instead of... Maybe, I think they should actually make your opponent worse in close proximity than make you better. Because they're rot. They're all about rot. They're rot flies. So they should reduce armor saves or reduce OC or something along those lines. But like,
I would give them Death Guard Contagions.
So -1 to hit and one of their abilities, which could be -1 to hit. What is there? So it's -1 to hit, or is it -1 weapon skill, ballistic skill?
-1 save, -1 to hit, or -1 OC to a minimum of 1.
Yeah, that is what they should do. They should make your opponent worse. Is what they should do. And the Death Heads should probably just cause a battle shock. But that's definitely what it should do because they're throwing the heads of their allies at them. That should definitely that's a battle shock ability, 100%. Okay, here we go. So we've spoken about one of my favourite units in the Beast. Now we've got one of your favourite units.
Is it Travis Scott time?
Oh, you'll have to.
You're going to tell me you do that.
You have to help me on that. I don't know. Oh yeah, I am a wrestling fan. I should know that. Yes, it is.
So yeah, one of my absolute favourite units. Just because of, to be honest, some of the nonsense that they managed to do. for 95 points now. They are insane. Charging into marine equivalents and near enough guaranteeing killing 5 of them. They Screamers wish they hit like Fiends did. But Fiends also wished they were 2 inches faster and flew like Screamers do. I think the 2 units are very much like, they're not completely interchangeable because one can be move blocked and the other can't. They are fairly interchangeable. For me personally, I absolutely love the extra damage that comes out of them. In terms of resilience, they are very much like Screamers. I'm not going to try and fight to put them in A tier.
Oh, okay. I automatically put them in the bottom of A tier, thinking you would. Okay.
Bottom of A tier is fair. What else is bottom?
I think top of B. To be honest.
What else is bottom of A tier?
Fleshhounds, Renmaster, Bell Piper. You could maybe go bottom of A. I think they're B, but they're like fingertips on A. I think they're very just in B.
I think they're so close to Fleshhounds. For me, they're better than Fleshhounds, but that's with the incursion head on.
It's not even that. This is where people can see the difference between you and me as players, because you will favour damage and I will favour utility, and that's just how we've had this conversation many times where that's been a differencing point between us both. And I would see the more value in the Fleshhounds just because of the utility of the uppy downy, but also Incursion versus Plague Legion. To be honest, Fiends could be value to me because I've toyed with the idea of doing, because their ability, forcing desperate escapes on the fullback, it's -1 if the unit is battle shocked, and I can cause that. So I've toyed with the idea of it. And also, a fast skirmish unit is something that Nurgle would like. So Fiends actually would be a good unit for me to take. It's just how do I get them in my list? I would have to rewrite my list completely to put them in. I would have to do a whole new archetype, and I don't want to do that yet. So I will want to do it eventually, but I'm not there yet. I personally prefer Fleshhounds, but again, that's preference and playstyle. That's all that is. I mean, if you want to put them in A tier, I'm okay with that. Oh shit, not S tier. But I don't know if I can say that you put them above Fleshhounds.
No, they're not above Fleshhounds, but they're really close.
Yeah, I mean,
I think just behind.
They're decent. They are I mean, before they got I think they got a nerf. So before they got the nerf, they were comfortably close to the top of A tier at 95 points or 100 points. 95 points for a really speedy unit that can move through walls. I think that's a big part of it, is they can go through walls, and they've got good combat, dev wounds, so they can punch up. It's really nice. And I think you've very much mastered how to use because I'm very much a multiples person. I don't like taking one of a unit unless it's a character or something. I like to have multiples. And for me, you only take one. So you are the master of getting value out of that one unit. I can't. It's not how I play. I'd have to have an expendable one. But yeah, I feel like you're very much you get the very much most out of your unit of Fiends. So I know where the value of them being in A tier for you is, and I wouldn't disagree with it. I think they are a good unit. And again, you'll take in excess. Let's look at it from that point of view. I think you take 3 units of them in excess, maybe 2. But
easily, easily take 3 units. The question is how big you want the units to be.
I mean, there was a point where you did run 6 Fiends. You ran 18 of them, maybe 1 6 and 2 3 in excess. Because that 1/6 can be a hammer with the +1 the wound.
That's probably the maximum, and then 3 3s is the minimum.
Yeah, because also that gives you redundancy. If you want a gambit, you can afford to lose a couple of them if you wanted to. Yeah. So it gives you a little bit of redundancy there. Seekers, so we are all.
Don't try and do what they used to do with Fiends and throw them into the biggest things in the world, because they cannot do them.
No, they can't take the punch as well as they used to. But if you're running into vehicles, then unless it's a walker, definitely go for it. Seekers. I don't hate Seekers. I think they're very much a Shadow Legion unit. I think they're B tier, but they're probably towards the bottom of B tier. They're better than Princes, I think. That Scout 9, the move block ability is really nice on them. They're maybe not... I mean, they've got a little bit of a place in excess. Depending on what they charge, you might Gambit, but they're not tough at all, so they're not exactly your best Gambit option. If you're going into Strength 3 units like Tau or Sisters that aren't Combat Sisters, maybe.
I feel like they're C tier because there's going to be so much that you think of before them.
Yeah, true. I'm looking at Blood Crushers. I'm like, are they better than Blood Crushers? And Bloodletters? Probably not. So actually, I'm going to put them below Bloodletters, but above the Scribes. Because I think they are a good Blood Legion unit. They're not a good Blood Legion unit at all. Shadow Legion unit. I'm absolutely butchering tonight. It's not good. Right. Hellflayer. I love Hellflayers. 80 points. +1 strength and damage on the charge. Crap ton of attack, especially with the anti-infantry dev wound clause. Yeah. I think they
You're definitely in a much better position to talk about them. But we spoke about them briefly earlier with the Torment Bringers. I think probably B. I think the points cost of the combination between that and the Torment Bringer is what holds them back. So I'd say B.
Yeah, I think like you can take them as a single unit, like a single chariot, and again, I think you can run that in. I think that's a Shadow Legion thing. If you're gonna in excess, I think you're taking 2 units of character and double chariot, and you're probably taking the +1 to wound, +1 to hit strat on enhancements on them because they're always going to Gambit. They fight on death with the character. They've got a lot of strength 5, 2 damage attacks on the charge with anti-infantry 3+. There's death wounds on a lot of those attacks as well. The 8 attacks each of the claws. Like when I was running Shadow Legion last year, I was running the scouting unit, and it was brutal. Like for example, to show you how good this unit is, they one-shotted the Necron Warrior blob. Just to show you how much damage they can put out. And they've got some decent shooting. It's only 6-inch range, but they move 14. So, and they're assault. So you can advance and shoot them as well if you want to advance and charge them in. Where can they advance?
They're a fairly good vessel in Shadow Legion for Fade, I think.
They can be. I toyed with the idea. When I was running Shadow Legion, they definitely can be, because they throw out so many attacks, and if you're going into the right things, you will flatten a lot of things, and they're OC3 each as well, so that's a good amount of OC off those guys, and they've got large bases, so they can be a little bit annoying to move about, but yeah, I think they're not a bad fade option, definitely. I think I genuinely think you can take them on their own, but I think if you're taking them, you just take the block. And if you're in Shadow Legion, then you're probably going to you might take one, and you could maybe take Fade. I still think the best candidate for Fade is Chosen and Lord. But Scout on them is not bad as a real turn 1 missile. But then also in excess, I think you're taking at least 2 units of them. I think they're very important in excess. I mean, the Torment Bringer is in B, so I'm going to put them behind the Torment Bringer in B. I think that's where they sit, right?
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Yeah, I think so.
I think they're hand in hand, right?
Right. Final unit. We are at the end. I have got another unit of plague bearers in here for some reason. I don't know why I've doubled them up, but that's fine. But we have got one more unit. that's how good plague bearers. Yeah, you take 2 units of them, right? So we just double S tier them. But no, last unit we have is the Soul Grinder, which feels even more sadder now the new Defiler is coming out, and that Defiler is absolutely nuts, and it makes the Soul Grinder so sad. Maybe it holds out hope of getting a Soul Grinder again in the future. Maybe.
Yeah.
If we don't get squatted, which I don't think we're going to now, I think we are very much safe. And so I would hope, seeing the Defiler, that they look at it and go, yeah, we can do a Soul Grinder like that. Because a new Soul Grinder, based off of that, would be I would be incredibly excited. Problem is with the Soul Grinder is it's on a dinner plate base. It's on its base is bigger than Ground Clean ones. So it's very hard to play about. I feel like the best attachment, funny enough, is very much Plague Legion. Because you're taking them as Nurgle. So they got the indirect. So if you want it to sit on your backfield and protect your backfield, you can, if you really want to. But you can move them through. I mean, you can move them through walls in any of the any of the God detachments. But I do think getting the toughness buff T12 from the Ground Clean one is quite funny. +1 damage in combat of Rotogus is actually fairly decent. You don't take them ever. Why would you take them over Greater Demons?
Yeah, that's true.
Why would I?
180 points, I think, is
too expensive.
But I think
it's too expensive for the base size.
Yeah, it is. If they got the rules of a Defiler in terms of 12-inch move and move through terrain, plus the 4 extra wounds, then I think they're in contention with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Talking about as well, I think they would be cheaper because they just don't have the amount of guns.
They don't have they don't have the damage output. I mean, their combat's not bad, but their shooting is very little, and the Soul Grinder's shooting is not very little. Sorry, the Defiler's shooting is not very little.
Yeah. They can have the combat if they gave them the combat output of a Defiler, but then basically took away majority of the shooting, gave them pea shooter shooting essentially, or like make the Harvester Cannon pretty much what it is.
So I personally think they keep the Harvester Cannon. Obviously, that's iconic for the Soul Grinder. They make it like a lot of shots. They can make it like 9 shots or something like that. They take away the big gun off of all of them, so they no longer have a mouth gun. And instead, what the Mark does is, like Demon Princes, it gives them an ability. So I don't know what the ability could be, but it will be an ability of some kind. A Nurgle ability, a Zinch ability, a Khorne ability, a Sinesh ability. Similar to how the Similar to how the Defilers got a Legion ability, right? Give them that for the gods. But take away their mouth gun, just give the Harvester more shots. And then they've got either a claw or a sword. Then they've got their Iron Claw, which is good. The sword and claw, the organic claw, they're extra attacks, aren't they? So they get that with the Iron Claw, don't they?
Yes. Yeah.
And then give them feet attacks. Give them extra attacks on their legs. So they don't have to be super good, but give them what do they get? Is it 5 attacks with the Iron Claw? And
they get 5 attacks, basically at the same profile as the Iron Claw of a Defiler. It's like the Shoveling Claws, or whatever they're called for the Defiler.
Yeah.
It's the same as the Iron Claw for the Soul Grinder.
Right.
So a Defiler gets 2 of those. I leave the Iron Claw as it is on the Soul Grinder. It's on the arm rather than being on the legs. That's fine. And then just extra attacks with 1 weapon, but maybe just make it like a dual profile. So whether it's a Warp Claw or a Warp Sword, you get the extra attacks with either a strike mode or a sweep mode. I think something like that would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't disagree. Question
And then
is,
obviously the Walker ability just needs to be replicated
mhm.
from the Defiler.
Yeah, it definitely should have the same ability, not just move over terrain features of 4 or less. I'm hoping maybe
Yeah,
it does get a buff in the future, like maybe going into 11th, maybe, we'll see. Where do we think it goes? I think because of the base and the restrictiveness, it can't sit above C. I think it would be very hard to put it into B.
no, it needs to be C. It can't be above Blood Crushers, Bloodletters, and all of
No,
that.
God no. I currently have it where I've had it hovering for a fair bit is in the middle of the Blue Horrors and the Flux Master. That's why I've had it hovering for a minute.
Is Blue Horrors above Fluxmaster?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think above Fluxmaster is fair.
But below Blue Horrors, just because they're a OC inventory unit that can infiltrate. If the
Yeah.
Soulgrinder didn't have the restricted base or could ignore terrain and had more movement, because a Defiler moves 12 now. Is that right?
Defiler 12 now and through all terrain.
And a Soulgrinder moves 8 and can only go over 4 inches or less.
Yep.
That's ridiculous. Cool. Well, that's it. Took us a while, but we got there.
Yeah.
Cool.
So a lot of glitch sheets. That's probably why there's been talk about demons disappearing. Too much stuff.
Maybe. I mean, most of those are characters. To be fair. No, I don't think we're disappearing. I think we're fine now. But don't get me wrong. Ask me a year ago. Ask me 6 months ago. My answer would have been yeah, we're gone. But now I have a feeling we're not. I think we proved we sell too well that it would just be a bad business decision. I just want them to start giving us new models because I'm bored. We haven't had new models in. What was the last model we got? Was it Be'lakor? It might have been Be'lakor 5 years ago. I think it was Be'lakor. I actually think it was Be'lakor 5 years ago. He was our last new model. So we ended up. Be'lakor is our best unit on our tier list, and our worst unit is the Changecaster.
All is right in the world.
I agree. Well, it's not because he should be better, Moonface, but he's not, sadly.
But I mean, to be fair, almost everything that is in D tier should be better. Most of the things that are in C tier should be better, but then we wouldn't have things to put in C and D tier. So the point is, I'm glad that it's the Moonface Changecaster over a bunch of other things that are higher than him.
Yeah, I agree. It could be worse. Yeah. To be fair, everything in D tier is a character. A lot of the
that just says
it does show
like
we have too many characters that they don't care about.
They could get rid of a bunch of them, and I don't think anyone would give a toss.
No, they unfortunately, they've been lost in the shuffle. But I'm hoping. My hope is, like I said, a Herald detachment, and they actually give us some good rules for them. So that's my hope for 11th edition. We will see. Cool. Right, we are going to wrap it up there. So thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you all in the next one.